Oh my good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you be? How you do? How is everything? Happy Monday to you. Oh my, the broadcaster is ecstatic today, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to check on things, make sure our sound is sounding the way it should sound when it sounds the way it should sound. So that's good. We of course ran a couple of tests beforehand, but things sometimes can get a little awry. Welcome to Glenda, everybody. Happy Monday. How are you doing out there in the world of the world? We're on a little early today. Our times are may start to change. We may start to record the show at a different time and play it back live. Sorry, trying to get that closer. In the afternoon. We'll see how it. We'll see. Where we're gonna go with this. We're not sure. But we'll keep you updated to the millions and millions of fans at home. And I want to thank you for tuning in today. What a show we've got today. What a day we've got today. I mean, today is the day, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the day if you're a fan of the show, and I know that you are, and I want to thank you for being one. Today is the biggest day so far in the Glenda Love Broadcasting Company's historical history thus far, since it's been part of history, in part of historical content, of course. From our perspective, tonight, of course, is the big backyard brawl taking place between NC State and UNC hockey squads at PNC Arena. So I am a little bit beyond excited and distracted. My mind is there, but my body is here. It's kind of like college, except for I didn't do anything externally to cause my mind to be somewhere else outside of my body this time. I just had seltzer and a little bit of coffee this morning. So now that we're on Glenda, now that it's welcome to Glenda, now it's good morning. Let's give each other the Glenda. The welcome to Glenda Moose salute, if you will. So what you want to do, if you've never tuned into the show, and welcome, we're always happy to see new watchers, new listeners, newcomers on board. When one thing you need to know when you're on Glenda, your family. So welcome to Glenda, and every morning we give each other the Glenda Moose hello salute. You take your opposable thumbs, your beautifully designed, created, and purposeful opposable thumbs. You depress them onto your temples. Do not press too hard. Because you can't cause vasodilation, which can lead to dizziness and other such side effects. Sorry, OSHA demands that I read that disclaimer. So like I said, you take your thumbs, which are good for doing this and writing and things of this nature, and going like, hey, the font. I mean, think about one man who made the thumb into an empire. Was Arthur Fonzarelli or Henry Winkler. Your choice. So you take your beautifully designed opposable thumbs, depress them upon your temples. You push your digits downward and cross them in front of you, and your head and thorax go downward a little bit, and then you come back up, and you come down, and then you come back up in a sunflower-esque motion towards the sun, and we give everyone and each other the good morning. Welcome to Glenda Moose salute. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to Glenda. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This show is now officially underway. Welcome to Glenda. Oh my, I would be remiss. I would be off target. I think I would be disappointed. I think you'd be disappointed if I didn't start the show with what's on everybody's mind, and that's the icing call that took place last night in my daughter's hockey game. They were playing a team, the Yetis. Big 10-year-old battle, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sure you've heard about it by now. It's been all over the Twitterverse and whatever verses are out there. And they're playing the Yetis, an organization that just 24 short hours beforehand had defeated them 10-3. So you can imagine that they were the underdogs. You can also imagine that your host here called his buddy Ace Rothstein in Vegas, took the ladies getting 3.5. He knew we had a couple of the ladies coming back. They were at a tournament on Saturday, so I had that insider information. So I took the ladies getting 3.5 heading into the affair. And don't think you can't gamble on 10-year-old hockey, ladies and gentlemen, because you can. Which is nice. So I took the ladies. So I'm vested, not just because I'm broadcasting it, not just because my daughter's playing in it, but good, and I got a financial stake in the affair, So I thought, to my, I blame myself. Clearly, the envelope that I handed the refs before the game, I walked into the refs locker room and said, hey, I used to ref. I've been a ref for a long time. I know you guys, you got it tough and everything. Is there anything I can get you? You need a coffee or anything? I slid them a little envelope, and I said, hey, listen, the Freiburg Turtles, they don't lose today. And I thought that was another state. I thought everything was cool. I was like, I got the ladies plus 3.5. I got the Freiburg Turtle back up. I offered them some coffee. We should be good. So the ladies are trailing just 1-0, towards the end of the first period. And then And then with less than 20 seconds left, the ladies ice the puck. They're in a little bit of trouble. They send the puck all the way down. The other organization, the Yetis netminder, his name was Stanley too, great name. He comes out. He plays the puck. He plays the puck on his stick. Has it on his stick, and the ref raises his arm and calls it for icing. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Bad call. Fine. You made a mistake. There's two refs out there. Obviously, one of them is going to correct the situation, and we're going to drop the puck at center ice. No harm, no foul. Hannah and Hannah, Knucklehead 1 and Knucklehead 2, pick up the puck, skate all the way down the ice, drop the puck deep in the Lady Canes zone. Of course, the other organization wins the faceoff. They bang it in. It's 2-0. And that's the end of the first stanza. Should have been at the end of the first stanza 1-0. It ends 2-0. They go on to lose the game 7-3. Obviously, 3 plus 3.5 is 6.5. So, your broadcaster, who was getting 3.5, your host here for the show, obviously took a beating, took a bath. All because, obviously I blame myself because the envelope that I handed the officials, clearly I should have came in, with a couple of cheeseburgers along with the envelope or something. I didn't get the job done, and so the ladies went on to lose. They didn't cover, losing 7-3, and the level of disappointment there when you see the goaltender playing the puck, and the ref's got his arm in the air, and then he blows the whistle, and then you're like, all right, well, there's two of them out there. One of them's going to realize that the goaltender was playing the puck, and when you play the puck, that's not icing, and then they're just going to drop it at center or say, okay, we inadvertent whistle, or we made a mistake, or our bad, or a variety of different things could have been said or done. They drop the puck deep in the zone, and and the rest is, as they say, horrific, history. So I just wanted to, I wanted to let everybody know that I share, in your frustration out there along with you over what happened, and you're not alone, I felt if I get it out there, I get it off my chest, you get a chance to get it off your chest. We all feel better about everything. The show will be better, the rest of the way going forward. Now that that sometimes you gotta get the ugly, you gotta get the bad news out of the way first, because the rest is so, if you gotta end on a high note, which the ladies were trying to do at the end of the first period, and they went with the Bill Belichickian and bend but don't break defensive prowess, sent the puck down the ice, off the boards, went down the ice. It was sputtering, but it was gonna go across the goal line, I guess. But it didn't, because the goaltender came out to play it, and there's the official with his arm, go up in the air. That's not icing, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, I'm sure if you don't know what icing is, go back and watch the opening scene of Slapshot, because it's explained there much better than I could do it here for you, or any NHL official, or clearly any youth official here in the Triangle area can have an understanding of it. So I just wanted to let you know, ladies and gentlemen, that you weren't, you're right to feel the way you do this morning, but, we've got too much going on this week. We've got too much going on tonight. We've got too much going on today. There's too much good in the world, for us to sit here and sit back and really worry about, such things that go on that are out of our hands, really. If you look at it, and you look back on it, you gotta look back on it, so you can get past it and look past it. So I just wanted to, provide us together here with that public service announcement, so we could all, together as a group, because when you're on Glenda, your family. So this is a family show. That's why we always keep things PG. So I just wanted us together, like a little group session, to move forward. I'm fine. I'm over it. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. I'm barely even. It's not even on my mind, really. What happened? That icing call, that the netminder. This thing will not stay where you need to stay. There. Thank you. Where the netminder, a little bit closer. There we go. Where the netminder played the puck in front of the goal line, and the ref blew the whistle. And what's the other ref doing? All right, one guy's got his arm in the air, but, your job, and maybe, one of the refs, he was new, maybe he's a rookie, maybe he's a kid, I don't know, maybe he owes the ref some money. The other ref, I don't know what's going on. Maybe the Yeti's envelope was a lot bigger than my envelope, that they handed the official, in which case, then I've got nobody to blame but myself, of course, and I understand that. Now, I'm fine with that, but, if you're gonna throw the match, in such a manner, perhaps. I mean, even the envelope and the offer of the cheeseburger and the coffee that I presented to the officials, I would not ask the official to make it such, an obvious, egregious-like manner, the way that you affect the outcome of the game. I mean, mistakes happen and everything, ladies and gentlemen, but two officials to make a mistake like that. Listen, I grew up in a town with way too many people whose names ended in vowels and wits and stein to not know a scam when I see one, okay, ladies and gentlemen? So something was going on yesterday, and, it's got to be spoken about. It's got to be talked about because, like they say, we've got to have the conversation. We've got to start the conversation. That's what everybody says about every issue. Oh, at least we're having the conversation. We've got to have the conversation. I think what's important is that we've started to have the conversation. How many times do you hear that stupidity uttered by everybody on every side of every argument? I think what's important is that this has shown light on the situation so we can have the conversation. So that's what I'm doing for you people. I'm having the conversation. I'm basically throwing myself on the sword for you people, for you guys, so we can have the conversation over what went on there during that icing call with about 15 seconds left to go in the first stanza of the U10 game yesterday. Now, there may or may have not been a couple of other things going on yesterday in the world of sports. Of course, tonight's the big one, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's the Grand Poobah. Tonight is the granddaddy of them all. As Chief Jackson used to say, whoa, Nilly. Tonight from PNC Arena, the NC State Wolfpack and the UNC Tar Heels are going at it. The backyard brawl. Kaboom! Going to be going at it, ladies and gentlemen. I am nowhere near enough of a wordsmith to tell you how excited I am. If you can't tell, your humble broadcaster will be calling the play-by-play live right here on the Glenda Love Broadcasting Company Station Channel Network. Right here for you, ladies and gentlemen. 7 p.m. PNC Arena. It's going to be a capacity crowd on hand. Last year they got over 8,000 for the game. They're expecting a huge turnout tonight, and if you can't make it to the arena tonight, ladies and gentlemen, then I understand that, but shame on you. You should be there. The only, like I said, and I've said this last week, the only people in my mind that have an excuse not to be there tonight are the 7 astronauts, cosmonauts, and whatever not circling this beautiful frisbee we call Earth on the International Space Station that the United States pays for. Those are the only people who have any excuse not to be there tonight. If you live in the Triangle, you're anywhere in the area, you got kids in hockey down here. If you're a Canes fan, State fan, UNC fan, any sort of college hockey fan, you need to be there tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I expect to see there. But if you can't make it, if for some reason you got to give the dog a bath, or perhaps tonight is your sock drawer rearrangement night. I understand. A lot of people have told me, Scotty, I'd love to be there, but tonight, Monday night, the third Monday every October, that's my sock drawer, rearrangement night. And I understand that. And I actually brought that up with the coach when the schedule originally came out. I said, oof. I said the 22nd October. I said that's tough. The third Monday in October. That's a lot of people's sock drawer rearrangement night. I had to move my sock drawer rearrangement night for tonight's game. And let me tell you, there was a lot of negotiations going on, in the house. I had to give up a couple of things. I think I gotta go to some sort of book club or something, because I had to rearrange my sock drawer night. But you know what? I mean, sacrifices have to be made. Efforts have to be made, and things of that ilk. So I expect to, and I look forward to seeing everybody at the big game tonight. If you see me broadcasting in the broadcaster's booth, feel free to come up and say, hey, listen, I'm a big fan of Glenda. We'll give each other, if I'm broadcasting, we'll just do a silent moose salute. It's okay. If I'm not broadcasting, then we'll give each other the full, moose salute, whatever we got to do. But if you walk up to me and do this, then, you're in the club. So welcome, welcome aboard. Welcome to Glenda. But the game will be broadcast live here tonight at 7 p.m. on the Glenda Love Broadcasting Company. And also, obviously, you can attend at PNC Arena. These games, I look forward to them. This is going to be so awesome tonight. Looking forward to it. Both organizations I know are fired up. NC State, the Wolfpack, are on fire. They won a couple of more games over the weekend, 2 more, raising their record. I want to say to 6-0. I know it's a lot. It's a lot in 0. That's all that matters. They've got a column over here full of numbers, and then they got a column here without a number. So what's the difference? This column's irrelevant. This is the column that matters. This column says 0. So they are on fire. They won again this weekend. A couple of matches once against Wilmington, and I saw they won on Saturday. I don't even know who they've won, but they are I believe it's 6-0. Like I said, it's a lot and O. And, the last time I saw them, I did the PNC game where they were playing George Washington University. They were down 3-0 early in the first stanza. Looked like they might have going to get run out of the building, and I was shocked because I knew that they had a good team this year. And then they clawed and battled and got the game back to overtime, and then won it in overtime 4-3 on a wonderful shorthanded effort by Jones. Not Jones, I'm sorry. Whatever. The freshman. Forgot his name, sorry. Come on, Brain, I don't like you and you don't like me. but he made a fantastic play. I don't know if it was technically shorthanded. They had a man in the box. It was a bizarre ending to the game. They battled back. They got the game tied, and then State took a penalty, a bench minor for misconduct, which I don't know what was said on the bench, but to get a misconduct penalty as time expires, you really got to say something inappropriate. Like the only thing like when I was officiating that I would really hand out a penalty there from the bench for misconduct for somebody saying something is if somebody was like, listen, dude, King Kong's gonna beat the living crap out of Godzilla. Whoever said that, immediately escorted, off off the ice, off the premises, out of the facility. And if you're seen back there in 48 hours, you're gonna be charged with trespassing, a 10-minute misconduct for being an idiot, and a 2-minute, unsportsmanlike, misconduct. Because there's some things, ladies and gentlemen, you just don't say outside of somebody, saying something of that ilk to me, it would take a lot for me to inject myself in the game at that time. But, these things happen, so then they ended up killing off the penalty, came back and scored the shorthander. I think it was still shorthand. I'm not sure if the young man was out of the box at the time that the call was made, but it doesn't matter. They won the game 4-3 in overtime. It was an amazing comeback by State, and they've been on fire ever since. They haven't looked back. And tonight's the big one, the backyard brawl, taking on the Tar Heels at PNC Arena. Tar Heels got off to a quick start this season. They were 2-0. Then the injury bug came by, but you know what? That's an excuse like everything else. And they've had a little trouble getting back to their winning ways. They're coming into this one 2-4. Loses a 4 in a row. They played in the JSAP tournament. They started off 2-0, and then they played the Junior Hurricanes here, the local Junior Hurricane team here, 18U Junior Hurricane team. And it was a really good, excellent finals game. In the JSAP tournament, they lost that one 3-2. Then they kind of limped into the Stephen Russell tournament a week later. Had a couple of rough outings there, lost 3 games there to St. Joe's and to Georgetown. And in the morning, who did they lose to in the morning? What game was that? I forgot. But they lost 3 in a row there. So they've lost 4 in a row. So you can certainly, expect them to come out looking to shine tonight, to get off the losing streak that they're on. And they've got a tough task at hand, ladies and gentlemen. The Wolfpack are at the top of their game. But this is one of those games, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you remember back in the early and mid-'90s when the Rangers were, at the top of their game, Messier, Leach, Richter, Zubov, Keenan, Larmer, Amante. Well, Amante was then traded for Noonan. And anyway, they were the best team in hockey there for 3 or 4 years. They actually brought one home, but whatever. But whenever they'd come out to the Coliseum, it was a 5 to 10% chance the Rangers were going to win the game. Matter of fact, the Islanders didn't lose at the Coliseum to the Rangers for 2 or 3 years. Actually, the Rangers finally broke through and beat the Islanders in March of '94, and that was a signature win there for the Rangers. I remember Zubov letting the cannon go on the power play with a couple of minutes left, past the outstretched foot of Ron Hextall, who was acquired for absolutely no reason by Don Maloney, who got rid of a great goaltender, Glenn Healy, who had over 50 saves in Game 7 versus the Penguins the season before to eliminate the Pittsburgh Penguins, which that loss, or victory, if you will, by the Islanders set the NHL back by decades because they had knocked out Mario Lemieux there in the second round, therefore thwarting a Lemieux versus Gretzky final, which would have been the only time that it ever would have occurred because that was the year that the Kings went to the finals and, of course, losing to Patrick Roy and the Montreal Canadiens. Now, you could say, well, maybe the Canadiens would have beaten the Penguins. No, they wouldn't have. Had the Penguins got the Islanders were like their nemesis that year. They had them. They played well against them all year. They gave them tough games all year. I think the season series going in was actually tied, and the Islanders are only down by 1, which against the Penguins in 1993 was ridiculous because they would roll out Stevens, Yager, Lemieux, Murphy, Coffey, Francis, Cohen, Barrasso. I mean, it was disgusting. Samuel Sons. I mean, Pittsburgh would roll into town. And, you had a good day if you lost 8-5. They were just a phenomenal team, and we ended up beating them in overtime in Game 7 without Pierre Turgeon for the most part of the series. He came back in Game 7, but really wasn't effective. So that ended up ruining the Gretzky versus Lemieux final, which, from this broadcast is, expertise in mass media and communications really set the NHL back. And that goal by David Volek may have cost the NHL tens and hundreds of millions of dollars. But as an Islander fan at the time, I was thrilled. I'm still, still excited about it. Still, since then, it's been pretty much our best moment since the Stanley Cup. So that's all right. We're not going to dive deep into, the Islanders' mismanagement. Of course, the Islanders' old owner and former owner, Charles Wang, passed away over the weekend, 74 years old, which is not old, not young, but not old. And he was always in great shape. I met him a couple of times. He was, very like fit, like loved basketball, and yeah, great. Just first of all, as an Islander fan and a guy who grew up on Long Island, I'll never, ever say a bad word about Charles Wang. Perhaps he didn't run the team as well as some people would have liked to have seen, or perhaps he didn't spend as much money on the team as some people would have liked to have seen. But he bought the team to save the team because the team was going under. The team was gone. The team was going to St. Louis or Seattle. They were out the door. They had a foot out the door. He came in, bought the team, and wanted the whole purpose of him buying the team was because he had a vision to build the Lighthouse Project, which he was going to build at Nassau Coliseum, the hub there. I think it was like 84 acres somewhere in Nassau. And if you're familiar with, New York, owning 84 acres, in Nassau, about, 20 miles east of Manhattan, that's pretty prime property. So he wanted to build a new arena. He wanted to build a big lighthouse hotel, five-star hotel, and condominiums and restaurants and shops. He wanted to make it this grand, vision. He wanted to have a Long Island Railroad station and spur right there. He had it all planned out, had it all funded, all funded by him and his partners, 100%. The only thing that he couldn't use the money for because he wasn't allowed was the upgrade to the infrastructure, the train, the tracks, and the roadways and everything, because he's not allowed to do that. That's government property. And Mr. Wang, now, who was born into poverty, okay, in communist China, the man was born in communist China, snuck over here by his family, came in over here, went through the process legally to become a citizen, worked his way up an incredible way in New York on Long Island. Got his education, got his degree in computer science, and went on to form one of the biggest and still most successful computer companies in the world, Computer Associates. He then went on to allocate those funds or invest those funds, and he became one of the most successful and powerful real estate moguls on Long Island, all coming from poverty and communist China. He escaped here and legally became a citizen of the United States. Did all this and then saved the Islanders from leaving. Didn't spend a lot of money on the team once he bought them. I always felt that had he been allowed to do what he wanted to do, he would have spent the money on the team. But definitely cut corners as far as salary goes. Definitely made some mistakes as far as hiring goes, management, general manager and this and that. But yeah, okay, fine. I can, my friends and I, we always used to sit up there and we used to be like, we never hated Wang. I mean, of course, we wanted to be, a team that spent a lot of money. And you know what? The Islanders have been a team that spent a lot of money the last 5 years. So, it hasn't really changed that much anyway. So, but we used to say to one another, it's fine if you suck, just don't leave. We were like, cool, whatever. I'd still rather come to an Islander game and we're in last place than not have the Islanders. So Wang definitely saved the team. No one can ever say anything different. And he had this vision. He had this vision for the lighthouse and for the whole project. It was called the Lighthouse Project. It was he had this whole presentation computer thing that I watched, I don't know, 700-800 times. It was phenomenal. It was going to be great. It was going to create thousands and thousands of jobs temporarily and then thousands of jobs permanently, to work there and to man all the stuff that he had planned for at the Lighthouse. Five-star hotel, does create a lot of employees and shops and condominiums, and he wanted to have a state-of-the-art physical therapy, doctor, office building, and it was just, it would have been phenomenal. And in the middle, it was going to be this giant, like, Central Park, and there was going to be, a place to have outdoor concerts, and then at the end of it, which was going to be like a strip, was going to be the new arena where the Islanders were going to play, and at the other end was going to be the hotel, and on top of the hotel was a giant lighthouse. I mean, it was brilliant. It was awesome. It should have been built. It's an absolute disgrace, and it's criminal that right now there's a half-ass building sitting there. The Islanders are going back to, which I'm still excited about. I still love the Coliseum. Don't get me wrong. in a big, empty parking lot. Essentially, that's all that's there. There's the Coliseum, there's the Marriott, which is a 1 star, 2 star rated hotel, I guess. Um, and then there's I guess 70 acres of unused land just sitting there. So this man, who born in communist China, came here penniless, built an empire here through hard work, came here legally, was a legal citizen, worked his way up, did a fantastic job, saved the islanders, bought the islanders. He was told now, mind you, he was told in the United States of America, the country that put a man on the moon, this man from communist China, born into poverty, came here legally, became a legal citizen, saved the islanders, was told his vision was too grand. He was told his vision was too grand. In New York, who has the audacity, the town that has the audacity to have the song, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. He was told by the powers that be in New York, and I'm not getting into party. There's both ends. He was destroyed by both ends. That his vision was too grand and too big a scope, and too much of a taxation on the environment and traffic and all the other reasons that they came up with to deny this man the right to fulfill his pursuit of happiness. Mind you, he had private investors himself and other investors that the money was privately funded. The project was privately funded outside of the infrastructure, like I said, which he wasn't allowed to. He can't do that. That has to be the government because that's infrastructure. Whatever. That's the way it is. That's nothing. That's not wrong of anybody, right or wrong. You're just not allowed to do that stuff, and that's fine. That's the way it is. You can't just build a railroad station and build and improve on county roads and things of that. And that's fine. So because of all that, they completely they never actually shut him down. And the funny thing was too, they never actually told the man no. They just kept it locked up in committee after committee, an environmental survey, a traffic survey, a taxation survey, this survey, that survey. And then they'd have some mother come out, with her 3 children standing on the podium and say, if the traffic increases around here, my little Susie's not going to be able to get to school for an hour and a half, and then all the air pollution that's going to come around, and I'm not sure if it's going to affect her waffles in the morning. And this man, born into poverty, born into communism, loved America, was an American citizen legally. Children were born here. Loved Long Island, loved the Islanders. Wasn't a hockey fan. Admitted when he bought the team. I had been to one hockey game before he bought the team. Clearly that showed by some of his managerial decisions. He should have bought the team, and what he should have done was bought the team and placed the call to Brian Trottier, Dennis Potvin, Billy Smith, and said, hey guys, can you guys, Bob Nystrom, Clark Gillies, and say, hey, listen guys, can you guys come in? Let's have some lunch. I don't know a thing about hockey. Obviously, you guys know a thing or two about hockey. How about, we set up some sort of committee here, and we'll decide who's the GM, the president. I'll decide that. Denny, I think you should be the DM and the president. Potvin, and the rest of you guys handle, the on-ice and everything. I'll handle the business behind-the-scenes aspect. I'll work on the lighthouse. You guys work on the performance on the ice, and, we'll keep it at that. And unfortunately, he didn't do that, and that was a mistake, clearly. He, was a little bit too hands-on for somebody who admittedly never went to a hockey game. Clearly taking a man, as your backup goaltender, one day during warm-ups, and the next day he's a GM. Yeah, hindsight is way better than 2020 on that one, but that's okay, don't mind that. But overall, the man saved the franchise, saved the Islanders, and then on top of that, after the Lighthouse project was, bogged down in committee after committee, it reminds me a lot of Star Wars, it'll never get through committee, which it didn't. They never even got to vote on it or nothing. He was like, all right, fine. He backed out. He was like, fine, you're never going to let me do this. I'm not an idiot. I didn't become a billionaire by accident. Even though I was born into poverty in communist China, came here, became a legal American citizen, had my children here. I'm an American. I love America. Even all that aside, he still said, he could have sold the team 1,000 times and made a lot of money. To anybody from Seattle, anybody from St. Louis, anybody from Salt Lake City. There were people trying to buy it from him. And he was like, no, and he never would do that. And he said when he bought the team, I'm buying them to make sure they stay here. And he was a man of his word. Love him or hate him, management-wise, money-spending-wise on the team on the ice, he did. One thing he promised was that the team wouldn't leave. He never promised, we're going to win 4 Stanley Cups in a row again. And they didn't under his watch. But That being said, he was a man of his word. The Islanders never left New York. They ended up in Brooklyn, but I can't even blame him for that. So then, after all that's being said, after his lighthouse dream vision was told that it was 2 grand, by Americans to a guy born in communist China in poverty, he was then he was like, all right, fine, fine. He was at that point he was like Pilate. He's like, fine, I'm just gonna wash my hands of this. You tell me what you want to do. I need a new building because the whole situation with the Coliseum and the Islanders. I'm not going to get deep into it. If you're a diehard Islander fan, you know the crazy lease that they had. They had a lease with I think it was SMG was the name of the company that lent them the money back in 1979 because they were going bankrupt, and they ended up with something like a 35 or 25 year managing controlling of the Coliseum. So the deal was the Islanders were never seeing a dime of money at the Coliseum. They weren't seeing a dime for parking. Weren't seeing a dime for concessions. Weren't seeing a dime for anything. Nothing. The only thing the Islanders made any little bit amount of money on was whatever they sold in their paraphernalia from their stores and from their kiosks on the what do you call it, the concourse. Where you went out, to get a snack. Let's all go to the lobby and have ourselves a snack. Or where whoever won, the $5 a man, first goal would go out to go get the first round on the concourse. And the Islanders had to pay SMG to rent the space. That was another part of the story. The Islanders were paying SMG. They had an Islander store there. They had Islander, little like on the concourse kiosks, I guess you call them almost, whatever. And the Islanders were actually paying SMG to rent those spaces in their own building. It's a true story. So that was the only money the Islanders saw from anything outside of TV money and whatever they got from the NHL. I mean, they were really not bringing in, compared to some other arena deals that teams are having. And he could have also kept the team. He could have kept the team, gotten paid an numerous amount of money, and moved the team, say, to St. Louis or Seattle or Salt Lake City. Those are the three big ones that kept coming up. San Antonio was in there for a little while. St. Louis and Seattle were the biggest ones. He could have kept the team, gotten a huge check from any one of these towns, gotten a brand new building made. It was already a brand new building in St. Louis, just sitting there, empty, still empty to this day. Very smart of St. Louis there, by the way. Oh, by the way, not to allow Rush Limbaugh to buy the Rams. He wanted to buy them about 10 to 15 years ago. So how are the Rams doing today in St. Louis? So he could have kept the team, or kept even sold 40% of the team, 49% of the team, still been the majority owner, moved the team to another facility, gotten tens and tens and hundreds of millions to move them, and gotten all the money inside the building every time that the Islanders, or whatever they would be called, played there. He didn't do that. He wasn't interested in that. It wasn't about making money. I'm sure they were a tax write-off for him. Like I said, the guy didn't become a self-made billionaire by accident. So after all that, after he's like, all right, fine, obviously you're not going to let me build this lighthouse thing. I think it was a property thing. Maybe it was an ego thing. Maybe he rubbed some politicians the wrong way, before he bought the Islanders. Who knows? There's always stuff behind the scene. Maybe they didn't like him because he was Asian American. Although I don't really like to go there with those conversations. But, if it could help my argument, then, why shouldn't I use it? Everybody else uses it when it helps their argument. So, but I don't think that was it. Maybe, like I said, maybe he ticked off a couple of people on his way, up the ladder. Who knows? Maybe he wasn't the nicest guy in the world. Maybe he was. I don't know. All I know is the Islanders didn't leave. So I like him. So then they put they say, okay, we're going to build a new Coliseum. We're going to build a new building. We're going to put it to a vote. We're going to let the people of Nassau vote. And it's going to be built, and it's going to be built by the county, by the state. It's going to be owned and operated by the state. And we're going to see if we can float some bonds, borrow some money, essentially, from the people of Nassau County, which are the highest tax people in the country to begin with. So they put it to a vote to the people of Nassau, and the people of Nassau voted it down. They said, no, we're not paying, for a new building for the Islanders to play in. So then he was like, and they ran out of time. The contract that they had at the Coliseum was running out, so they had to move. They were literally being forced out at the time. Coliseum was a disaster of a building by then for a long time now. As far as making money goes, as far as the roof leaking, as far as going to see a hockey game from a fan's perspective, there's no better place than the Nassau Veterans Memorial College. The barn is just the barn. I mean, it's just, we love our barn. If you're an Islander fan and you grew up on Long Island, you love the Coliseum. I mean, you are close to the ice. There's no more buildings like this left. This is it. Well, maybe the one in Winnipeg. I shouldn't say that. The one in Winnipeg still an older, smaller building, from what I understand. Um, so then he moved the team to Brooklyn because it was basically the only place left that he could go. Moved the team to Brooklyn. It's been a disaster ever since. I don't blame him for that. At least he kept them in New York. And then he got a couple of people to come along by the team. I think he still owned 10 to 15% of the team. I think he still does, or his family does now because he passed. And went like this and said, I did everything I could. I kept my word. I'm handing him over, to these two guys who are, real estate moguls. These guys that bought the team, the two, Malkin and Ledecky, seem to have a lot more money than Wang, a lot more pull, a lot more connections in the New York area. I don't think, even with Wang being such a successful real estate man in Oyster Bay and owning a lot of property on Long Island, I don't think that looking back, um, that he was exactly the, political. I don't think he had a lot of political savvy. Just looking back, just the fact that he couldn't get the lighthouse deal done. Not that I'm knocking him for it. He tried. It's just something was amiss there. Had it been, and I'm not. Please, people, I'm not getting political here. This is before he became president. But had it been Donald Trump who bought the Islanders and had the vision for the lighthouse, I promise you there'd be a new building, a lighthouse, and all that would be there. It would be the Trump Islanders or the New York Trumps or something. But still, it would have gotten done. So I don't know, exactly where or why Wang didn't get it done, but I don't blame him by any stretch of the imagination. And he was told that his vision was too grand. So now the Islanders are in Brooklyn, going to play half their games this year at the renovated Nassau Coliseum. I haven't been to it since it's renovated. I haven't even been to a game in Brooklyn. I hear it's terrible. I hear the commute's terrible. I hear the sight lines are terrible. I hear the building's terrible. I hear everything about it's terrible. Not made for hockey. Obviously, the scoreboard's not even in the middle. And supposedly they're building a new building in Belmont for them, which everybody seems to be skeptical about. I think it's going to happen. I don't see it not happening. I don't think these guys would have bought the team without it happening. They already announced that it's happening, and then it's getting tied down in some things of that nature. But to my point of this whole entire, soliloquy, monologue, pontification, whatever it is that you may or may not want to call it, I want to just personally thank Mr. Charles Wang for saving the Islanders, for keeping the Islanders on Long Island, for keeping his word. Sorry that he passed, and he'll always be somebody that I like as an Islander fan, that I feel as a diehard Islander fan, that I owe a debt of gratitude to for keeping the team, on Long Island, keeping his word, and doing the best that he can. He was just shut down by modern, weak-minded new Americans. I'm not even going to say millennials. I don't even think millennials existed then when he was trying to do it, so I can't even blame it on them, which is, what everybody likes to do. Is the common thing to do, blame millennials, which is fine. I'll blame, anybody but myself, but can't even blame them. At the time, it was just a matter of, his vision was too grand. So, well, Mr. Wang, I hope that, that you're at home in heaven and you're enjoying your beautiful grand lighthouse up there, which is 10 times or 100 times or infinity amount of times more grand and beautiful than even you visioned for Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. But for an Islander fan, and I don't know if I speak for a lot of us, but I really don't care. I speak for me. Thank you very much, and I hope you rest in peace and your family. Prayers, and sorry that you passed. And you did a fantastic thing. You really did a fantastic thing. So, salute. So, with that being said and out of the way now, there was obviously a Sunday of football took place yesterday. Typical, NFL Sunday. I myself, I had my lock that I handed out to everybody. You guys didn't materialize in any way, shape, or form. I had a list of reasons why I liked my lock. My lock was the Jaguars, which I gave out on Friday. Which, if you're a fan of the show, you know, and I want to thank you for watching. I gave out the lock on Friday. The Jacksonville Jaguars giving 4.5 at home to the Houston Texans. I thought the Jaguars were going to bounce back from their two embarrassing losses. Well, the one in Kansas City really wasn't embarrassing, but the one in Dallas certainly was, 40-7. Figured coming back home, still thought they were, one of the better teams in the AFC. Thought past tense. Thought. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I could tell that I can't hear it so well. So I don't know if you can. I hope you can. Thought. The defense was still going to be a lot better. I had it at as of yesterday, giving up on Blake Bortles. Apparently, the Jacksonville Jaguars are giving up on Blake Bortles because every time they play the Patriots, Bortles has played well. The AFC title game, uh, this year's game down in Jacksonville where they whipped up on us. So I thought, okay, they had a little lull. They lost a couple of games. I am not high on the Houston Texans. Obviously, I may be wrong about that too. I thought the Houston Texans were not a good team. They've now won, I think, 4 in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So the Texans went down there. I know they got a good D. I just didn't think. I got to start to change my tune about this too. That they were, excellently coached, good organization. I wasn't too high on them at all going in. Coach O'Brien. Didn't think he was a good coach, but what can I say? Besides, I couldn't have been more wrong. They took care of business down in Jacksonville, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, let's go to Google. Let's all go to Google so they could see what we think. NFL standings. Let's see. I think Houston's now alone in top their division. And let's see. Our problems may be solved. Ed McMahon. And I lost. Oh, yep. Houston's in first place, 4-3. They were 0-3. They're now 4-3. The Titans are 3-4, and the Jaguars are 3-4. Talk about having a good day. How about the Pittsburgh Steelers, huh? Sitting home, resting, got your feet up, chilling out. Don't have to play today. Don't have to go to work today. Watch everybody go out there, beat the living crap out of each other, which happens every Sunday. And the Bengals lose, the Ravens lose on an extra point, and the Browns lose in overtime because the Browns don't play in regulation. I think the Browns have only lost 1 game in regulation, lost 3 in overtime, and tied 1. So the Steelers gained a half a game on everybody, and wake up this morning and find themselves in first place. So that's why I tell you, always keep an eye on the Steelers until they're not, until they're out. They're not out, and they're them and the Ravens, the 2 organizations in the AFC that I always thoroughly root against. Because they are not afraid to play us in the playoffs, be it at their house or which rarely occurs. I don't think we've ever played in Baltimore or in Pittsburgh. Actually, 2 times we played in Pittsburgh, the AFC title games, we won both of recentness. So, just looking here, looky. So very interesting day yesterday across the board. We will. Oh, another game that I handed out. This was not my fault, but I don't want to be the guy that blames, the official, for calling icing when the goaltender touches the puck. I don't want to be that guy. Told you to take the 49ers because a team getting more than 6.5 points at home covers 85% of the time, and they were getting 10 points, 10.5. They were getting from the Rams yesterday. They lost 39-10, so 10 plus 10.5. Doesn't get you to 39, so that was another debacle. I believe I also, looking back on my notes here, definitely told you I like the under in the Cleveland game. I believe that went over, if I'm not mistaken. I did like the Titans though. I did like the Titans getting 7. I had that. The Broncos were my lock Thursday night. Had that. Panthers, I told you I have no idea. Vikings, told you I have no idea. The Colts, the Bills, looking sharp. Oh, we're going to have a special guest on this week, Mr. Lou Piazza, a.k.a., as I like to call him, Rio. He's going to be our weekly Bills call-in guest. We're going to have him on probably Tuesday or Wednesday. We haven't hammered it out yet. He's going to call in and just discuss. I like to hear from fans. So if you're a fan of an NFL team, we've got Mr. Lou Piazza going to be calling in. For the Bills. We've got Uncle Nono's going to be calling in this week for the Broncos. We've got Uncle Clinty going to be calling in for the Seahawks. Speaking of uncles and aunts and things of that ilk, don't forget to tune in to our Keeping It in the Family football show, football family and food every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Unless there's a hockey game of one of my children, then we'll have to move the time. But for the most part, every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m. Keep It in the Family football show. Get you ready for football, get you ready for family, most importantly, get you ready for food. Hosted by myself and Uncle Nono's this week in studio guest. I couldn't be more excited. It's going to be Uncle Clinty, my brother. So I'm going to have my brother sitting next to me, who's a huge Seahawks fan, and my brother-in-law on the phone from Miami, a huge Broncos fan. So you're not going to want to miss that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to want to miss that. I'm looking forward to that get-together. My brother will be down visiting this weekend, so perhaps a couple of adult libations may be purchased. We were looking at it, per cocktail. We were thinking the new Natty Light 77 pack that they sell. We were thinking financially that might be our best bet to go with that. Yeah, I told you to take the Buccaneers and the Browns. The over was 50. The over was 51. The over under. I told you to take the under. As I'm doing quick math here in my head, 20 plus 20 is 40, and 3 plus 6 is 9. So I actually won on that one. But my lock was Jacksonville. That's all that matters. But so just going down the old list here, the Chargers Titans game. I knew that was going to be a tough one for the Chargers. Chargers prevailed though. I would have liked to have seen them lose. So everybody's still high on the Chargers, winning that one 20-19. I'm not sure how it got to that score because I'm not going to lie, I wasn't able to watch that game. It was on in the morning, and as you know, I was doing my show, keeping it in the family. I forgot to mention, 10:45 today, calling into the show is going to be Mr. Shane Willis, former Carolina Hurricanes, still is with the Hurricanes. You may know him. He does sometimes in between periods, pre-games and this and that with Mike Maniscalco, does a fantastic job. And he's also in charge of the I guess you could call him like the liaison between the NHL team and the youth hockey here in the Triangle. Does just a ridiculously great job with the kids. I love him. He does a fantastic job. He runs the First Goal program, which if you're in the Triangle, I couldn't recommend higher. If your son or daughter has not yet played hockey, I think it's like $120. You get we'll talk about it more with Shane when he comes on. Like a full set of gear and 2 tickets to the game and like 5 sessions on the ice to get them going and learn how to skate. It's awesome. My kids helped out this year doing that on the ice with Shane, and they had a ball helping out, and he does just a ridiculous job. Let's see here. How did Rivers do? 2 TDs, 300 yards. Wow, they did a great job. Gordon wasn't even in the game. That's right. So the Chargers win that one 20-19. How did they get to 19? I guess 1, 2, 3, 4 field goals. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 7. Last I checked is 19. Let's see. Where's kicking? Kick. There we go. Kick returns. Bunch of kicking. Yeah. No. Wait a minute. He was 2 for 3. So he kicked 2 field goals. So they must have went for 2. Well, you know what? I didn't see the game, so they may have went for 2 at the end, and I don't even know what I'm talking about. Doesn't give you like when they scored or anything, but all that matters is that the Chargers are now 5-2 on the year. They've only lost to the Chiefs and the Rams, so you got to say that the Chargers are right there. If I'm not mistaken, are they playing the Chiefs this week? Let's see. Hold on. I don't like to start looking at next week till about Wednesday. You know that we still got a game tonight, the Giants and the Falcons. Oh boy, that's going to be a big one. The Broncos are visiting the Chiefs. That's right. Who the Chargers play next week? Real quick here. Really quick. Oh, cool. We get to talk to Mr. Piazza this week as the Patriots head up to Buffalo for a Monday night affair. So they're going to make me stay up late to watch the Patriots play the Bills? Fantastic. Sunday night's a good one. Saints and the Vikings. That's a good one. Good job there, NBC or CBS or ABC or Fox or whatever it is. Chargers look like they got a bye. I think you do get a bye after they make you go to London. Yeah. It would appear so. It would appear as though that is the yep. Okay, so Patriots. This is where the Patriots now are running into their national televised Monday night, Sunday night, back to back. Yep. Okay. So the Chargers are 5-2 going into their bye week. Pretty good. Maybe they'll have as good a bye week as the as the Steelers had this week. What a week for the Steelers. I mean, the Patriots had even a better week because the Patriots won in their entire division loss. But that's not that uncommon in the AFC East. I mean, let's be honest. No offense. Well, not a lot of offense. If you take offense, take offense. Generally speaking, since Brady and Belichick have been there, the AFC East has rarely had anybody that competes with them all the way down the stretch. There was that one year the Dolphins won the division. That was when Brady went down. The Patriots still won 11 games and didn't make the playoffs. I don't know if there's been another season where the Patriots didn't win a division since 2001. Well, the year after they won this first Super Bowl, they didn't make the playoffs. I think they were 9-7. Didn't make the playoffs, and then after that, they won 2 more Super Bowls in a row. And then I don't know. I can't remember them not winning division. I don't know. Who cares about these things? I'm not gonna go back and look it up and say, yeah, the Patriots have won the division 18,000 times. Doesn't matter. All that matters is they're 5-3 in Super Bowls with Tom and Bill. Then really, what was the game of the day? As you heard, predicted on the Keeping It in the Family football show. Uncle Nono said he was really keeping an eye on this one. The Panthers versus the Eagles yesterday. Panthers were down 17-0. I think was it the fourth quarter they were down 17-0. I believe they were down 17-0 in the fourth quarter. Yeah, they scored 21 points in the fourth. Wow. They were down 17-0 at Philadelphia, the Super Bowl champs, much to my chagrin. And Cam Newton threw for 269, 2 touchdowns. Nothing crazy there. He had 49 yards rushing. Wow, they didn't run the ball much at all. They only ran the ball outside of Cam attempting to run the ball. They only ran the ball 7, 8, 9, 7 plus 3 is 10, right? Yeah, they only ran the ball 10 other times outside of Cam Newton running the ball. Wow, they really didn't run a lot of offense at all. Cam threw for 269 yards. And then they ran all together 50, 85, 95, 95 and 30, 125 yards rushing. Wow, 125 yards rushing totally, and 200. So not even 400 yards offense entirely. Wow. And they still got the job done. Still won the game 21-17. So they got 3 fourth quarter touchdowns there by the Panthers. I'm looking to see here. No interceptions by Wentz. So it wasn't a bad day by Wentz. That I didn't have a great day. Didn't have a bad day though. 30 for 37. Actually, had a heck of a day. 30 for 37, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, no, that's a fantastic day. It's going to be much better than that. They really shut down the run though. Here, let's look at the running attempts here. Outside of Wentz, there was 8 and 12. 22, 21 attempts rushing, 32, 42, 52, and about 55 yards given up by the Panthers on the ground. So that's where the story lies. There's always a story inside the story, and since I really don't know much, and unfortunately yesterday I didn't see much of football at all. Caught a little bit of the basically the first quarter of the Patriot game. I left here. And it was 17-7 Bears. Had to go to my daughter's ice hockey game, which, if you like, you can view the game on the Glenda Broadcasting channel on YouTube. Go back and check out the game. It was a good tilt versus the Yetis. Would have been a better tilt had the official not blown the call for icing there at the end of the first period. But I digress. Like Mark McGuire, in front of the Senate Committee on Steroids. We are not here to talk about the past, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to talk about the future. And the future, ladies and gentlemen, when you're on Glenda, is bright. Especially tonight, 7 p.m., baby. PNC Arena, State and UNC Tar Heels hockey at the arena, baby. Oh, my. Big shout out to the Canes for allowing us to use the arena, too, and PNC. And it's cool, too. It's not like, some half-ass, game going on. Like, they've got, like, all the new arenas nowadays, they got the lights going around, I don't know what you call it, inside the arena. Those are all lit up in State and UNC colors and logos. State and UNC colors logo is on the board. You got Wade Minter doing the game. The public address announcer, the one for the Canes is doing the game, from the booth down low, and he's, working the music. He's the DJ. Him and I discussed it. I put in a couple of requests. We'll see. If he can, the one song that I asked him, see if he could play it for me tonight. We'll see if that happens. He said he was going to try and upload it. I'm not going to let you know what it is. Of course, it'll be broadcast on the Glenda Broadcasting Network, hosted by yours truly, calling the play-by-play and color commentary as I see fit. So I hope that if you can't make it out to the arena, and shame on you if you can't, that you tune into the game. Tonight's going to be fantastic. I'm so looking forward to it. So, like Mark McGuire, we're looking forward to the future. But right now, we got to look back in the past, and we got to look at yesterday's football games. Yesterday, the Vikings traveled to New York, and the Vikings starting to find themselves. Everybody freaked out when they lost that game at home, 27-0 to Buffalo. Looks like they're really starting to get their act together. Big win in New York. The Jets have been playing well. Jets are 3-4. But they were winners of the last 2, so they came in a little bit hot, especially coming off of 2 big victories. They put blowout victories where they took care of business versus the Broncos and took care of business versus the Colts, both where they had really good running days. And yesterday, it looks like the Vikings were like, you are not going to run the ball because the Jets attempted, and Jets certainly tried to run the ball. They're 11 and 11 is 22, so they tried to run the ball 24 times. Well, 6 of them were by Darnold, so we'll take that off. So 11 and 7, so 18 times. No, they didn't try to run it that much, actually. The Jets, no problem. Just got a text message there. Where was I? Oh, so the Jets ran the ball for 30, 40, 50. Darnold ran for 20, but I don't count that. 30, 40, 50, 55 yards. Darnold ran for 18 on 6 attempts. So 55 yards, but they averaged 2.6, 4.0, and 2.0, so they could not run the ball, and the Vikings basically had their way with them. Cousins had a nice day, 2 touchdowns, 241. Actually, 25 for 40, not so great. Murray, nice day there on the ground, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns. And this guy Thielen, man, wow, they got some studs at wide receiver. Another 100-yard day, 9 catches. Nice. Where was I? I just got a fantastic text, ladies and gentlemen. Just got a text from the coach of of the Tar Heels saying that he's delivering me tonight a UNC sweater to wear on the show tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. Said it makes him 6 feet blah. I don't have one for the show, so thank you, Coach Folkman. That's outstanding. I'll be rocking it tomorrow. I'm kind of feeling a little bit like John Butchergross, you know. So feel free, ladies and gentlemen, to, you know, bring your favorite team's sweater. I will rock it. However, definitely make it a double XL because been having a lot of pasta these days, and you know, the doctor said I swallowed a lot of aggression and a lot of pizzas. So the Vikings took care of business in Minnesota. In New York, at the Meadowlands at the Jimmy Hoffa Memorial Stadium. So my mom's happy. She's a big Vikings fan. I know Coach Volkman's happy of the Tar Heels. He's a big Vikings fan from the great state of hockey, Minnesota, and promised to take me there one day to go ice fishing. And I'm not going to go there without my mom because she's always wanted to go to Minnesota and go ice fishing. So we will be there soon in a tent with some whiskey, and I think really what I would love to do. Oh my gosh! I love when my brain does good things. Not too often, so I get really excited. So what we're gonna do? I'm saying it now. Write it down. October 21st. Is it? Is it 21st? 22nd. I should know this since tonight's the backyard brawl. I've had this circled on my calendar for a while. Write it down, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do a Welcome to Glenda show one day from inside a tent on the frozen pond out in Minnesota while ice fishing and having some whatever it is you have to stay warm out there. That is going to happen. Write it down, read it. That is something I am going to do in this lifetime, in this year, within a year. Those are 2 things that are going to happen this year. That's going to happen, and another prediction for the show that has been kept a little bit personal, but I'll share it with you when the time is right. When it happens, I'll let you know that I predicted it. Not as exciting. Let's see. In Indianapolis, oh boy, the Bills went into Indianapolis. I believe Anderson did start. He threw 3 interceptions. I mean, he was on the Bills for about a week. You know, what are you going to do? So the Bills dropped to 2-5. The Colts raised their records to 2-5. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm my friend Rio, Lou Piazza, who will be calling in our Bills, affiliate, to let us know how he feels. I'm ecstatic that they lost this game. Of course, you never want to lose the game. You hate it, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, Allen was out. If Josh Allen's in, they're a different team. I think Josh Allen has looked fantastic. I really do. From the little bit that I've seen of him, I'm actually disappointed that he's not going to be playing this week against New England. As far as I know, he's not back anytime soon, which is why they went and got Anderson. I think he's looked phenomenal as a rookie quarterback with a team with absolutely no talent around him. But if I'm a Bills fan, and you know, Bills fans are a very dedicated bunch. And another thing. Let me tell you. Let me say this about the Bills fans. Okay. They've got, you know, the Bills Mafia that they started. Very, 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 you know, awesome. I think I love it. Love Bills Mafia. Love the name. You know, because I'm tired of, like, you know, this nation, this army, that. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, when you're here, you know, you're family, but you're part of the Glenda Navy, because nobody has a Navy, so we have a Navy. So that's because we sail up to other shores and we just, you know, take care of business. We're not marauders or Vikings. We don't get off the ship. We're Navy. Stay on the ship. Got some planes though, Maverick and Goose. The boys. Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me. So anyway, if I'm a Bills fan, I'm ecstatic that we lost this game because if you look, because now you're tied with the Colts 2-5. Going forward, you got to look at the draft. You got to be honest with yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And there's 9 games left, so the Bills will probably win another 2 or 3. And now they're tied with the Colts, so they're going to be, at least that's one team where if they end up tied, how many teams have a worse record than the Bills right now? The Raiders. Is 2-4-1 worse than 2-5? I don't think it is, right? As far as you know, as far as I know, if my math is correct. And like Tony Stark, it always is. Yep, the Browns have a better winning percentage, and the Colts, they lost to the Colts. The Giants, okay. Giants are not going to win a lot of games, so the Bills are going to, and then you got the Cardinals. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now the Bills are, the 4th or 5th worst team in the league. So they're looking at picking, top 5. Again, you already got the quarterback in place. Go get yourself, best player available or running back or whatever. It's a big loss. It's a good loss for the Bills. You weren't going to win. You had a quarterback starting that was, on the team for a week. Good loss for the Bills there. Call me crazy. I'm sure that Lou's not going to agree with me when he calls in, but you don't mind that. Then there was the Patriot game, which turned out apparently to be quite the wackadoo of a game. I left, like I said, left the house. They were down 17-10. They had fumbled a kickoff. They were winning 7-0. Then it was 7-3. Then they fumbled the kickoff. Then it was 10-3. Then the next series, Sonny Michel got turned all around, tore up his knee. Sucks. I hate seeing young guys get hurt really, really bad because they got screwed by the veterans in the league who put a ridiculously hard, heavy, and low-hanging salary cap on these guys, so they can't go out there and earn a lot of money till the second contract. They threw them completely under the bus. I mean, certainly what's the word? Really? Can I fix that? I've got to fix that. Let's see. Can I fix that? Hold on. Sorry, folks. I got to do it. I got this all discombobulated here. Is that allowed? Yeah, I think so. Look at that. Look at you. Look at you. Good job. Wow. I'll tell you what I just did, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not afraid to tell you. Because I started the show today at a different time, and I forgot to change the end time of the show. And I've got our guest today is calling in at 10:45, and I had the show set to end there at 10:30. So I had to update that on the fly. Wow, whew, good thing I checked. Otherwise, we would not have had a phone conversation with Shane Wilson. I'm looking forward to that. So I hate to see anybody get hurt. I guess getting older too. Used to never think about it, and I never wished anybody to get hurt. But now I'm like, and especially you see, I mean, he's a first rounder, so I'm sure he got paid decently. But especially when you see like a third or fourth rounder guy go down for the year, torn up knee. The rookies and the young guys coming in to the league were completely shafted by the veterans in the last collective bargaining agreement. I understand, hey, listen, you haven't earned it yet. Why should you be getting, a $200 million guaranteed contract like some of the, quarterbacks were getting? Whatever. So the Patriot running game took another big blow yesterday as Mitchell's out for the year. Michelle, excuse me. Whom in the beginning of the year I really wasn't liking. I thought he was way too much of a tippy-toer. For me, he would get the ball and do a little shimmy instead of north and south, which was the reason, that Ben Jarvis Green Ellis was my all-time favorite New England running back outside of Kevin Falk. But Kevin Falk wasn't a running back; he was a scat back. I mean, he was a running back, but he was more of a specialty guy whom I loved. Still, him and Troy Brown, my two all-time favorite Patriots. But my favorite Patriot running back was Ben Jarvis Green Ellis because that guy, one, didn't fumble. 2, hardly ever got hurt, and 3, just ran north and south. He wasn't phenomenally juking and jiving, wasn't phenomenally fast, wasn't 275 bully over pounds, but the man just, he kept coming after you, and that's the kind of man you want in your life if you're a fan of the team. So New England went on to win the game, held on. Crazy Hail Mary there at the end of the game. I didn't know. It was funny, too. Here's a true story. I'm at my daughter's game, broadcasting the game, doing the play-by-play, and there was the icing call by the official that should have never been a call. Terrible job. ended up. I don't know if it cost them the game. They lost 7-3, but certainly changed the outlook going into the second stanza. They would have been down 1-0. Now, granted, they lost a face-off, and the other team scored. There was a lot going into it, but the icing should have never occurred. The face-off should have never been down there. They would have not had the time to have a face-off at center ice where the face-off should. Well, there shouldn't have even been a whistle. That aside, they blew the whistle. Should have been at center ice, and then they wouldn't have had time to make it 2-0. Then it was 2-0 going into the second stanza instead of 1-0. And if it's only 1-0 going into the second stanza versus a team you lost to less than 24 hours ago, 10-3, you're feeling pretty darn good about yourself. You go in, 2-0, and they scored about 2 or 3 seconds left because of the face-off that you lost in your zone, which you should have won, but still was there, inappropriately because of the official, changes things. But I digress. So I'm at the game, calling my daughter's, broadcasting my daughter's game, and I'm keeping an eye on the Patriot game, of course, on my phone. Fortunately, 90%, or let's say 95% of my daughter's games are like 7 in the morning on Sunday, 8 in the morning, 6:30 in the morning. I don't mind that, ladies and gentlemen, not one bit at all. Give me a 6:35 face-off in the rink that's furthest from us because they play in a bunch of different rinks down here. There's one rink that's about 45 minutes away. There's another rink that's like an hour away up in Hillsboro. But give me a 6:45 face-off league. Give me a 6:35 face-off in Hillsboro, North Carolina, an hour away from here. Then 3:30 in the afternoon Sunday face-off at the rink that's 10 minutes away. That's where we were yesterday. But first world problems. I'm at my daughter's game watching her, play ice hockey on the junior team. So. Life's good. I'm not complaining, but it's fun to bemoan. You know what I mean? So I'm there calling the game. The game's getting a little out of hand now. All started because of the icing call. I don't like to make excuses. I'm not an excuse guy, and I'm definitely sounding that way right now. But I was just, I was baffled by a couple of calls in yesterday's affair, especially since I had 50 cents on me. I called my buddy Ace, put a couple of shekels on it. I knew I had some insider information. Not gonna lie, I knew the girls were having some of their ladies return. They had a couple of ladies at the tournament in Charlotte the day before. They couldn't make it, so I figured, okay, got a couple of our horses coming back. Our regular, backup goaltender, but she's also very good. They've got 2 good goalies on this team. She's going to be in net today. Yesterday we didn't have our regular goalie. I called Ace. What's the line? He said 3.5. I'm like, oh, wow, it seems like Vegas doesn't have the same information that I have. Obviously, that's the delusions of grandeur there in my head. Put 50 cents on the girls, getting 3.5, and they lose by 4. They lost 7-3. So I'm doing the game. So I got my eye on the Patriots, and all of a sudden, whatever. We pull up, we leave the house. It's 17-7. I've got the Panther game on the radio. Not checking the phone as I'm driving over, trying to be a good dad. If I was driving by myself, probably have an eye on the radio, an eye on the an eye on the road. But since I've got the wife and the kids in the car, I'm acting like I never do that. So driving to the game, we get to the arena. We're filing in. And I quickly looked down on the phone and I hit refresh or whatever, and we left. It was 7 Bears. I looked down and it's 21-17 New England. I'm like, oh, fantastic! I go into the arena. I'm in a great mood. We go in, we set up. I'm keeping an eye on the game. Blah blah blah. Goes back and forth. 21 Bears, and then the Patriots kept going up and up, and the Patriots got it to sooner than later in the fourth quarter, up 38-24. So I'm like, okay, feeling good, doing math in my head. That's 14. Okay, good, 2 scores, about 9 minutes left. Blah blah blah. Of course, the Bears end up making it 38-31 because that's what happens in the NFL these days. And when you're rooting for your team and you're not watching, it always creeps closer down into one possession. Then I see New England's got the ball. Then I see, and I'm really starting to keep a closer eye on it, and I'm trying to call the game. And then I see the Bears get the ball back. I'm like, here we go. Not that New England's, the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets known for blowing things, but this is I'm on the phone calling the game. I don't know what's going on. I'm in the dark here, Charlie. I'm in the dark, even though I really wasn't because I had the phone. Now I would have shut off my notifications, shut off my phone, tried to not find out how the Patriots did. Came home and watched the game. DVR'd on delayed. Normally I would do that if I can. It's a phenomenal world it's a phenomenal world we live in nowadays because it's actually harder, much harder, to not find out what's going on with your favorite team than it is to find out. I mean, remember back in the day? I remember back in the day. Um, Back in my day, sonny boy, we didn't know. We didn't have all this technology in our hands here. We didn't have more of a computer than they had on the space shuttle right here, like you do, Tag Nabbit, you young whippersnapper. Get off my lawn! Um, so we didn't. I remember how ecstatic I was when I was a kid when the 10-minute ticker came out, and I would like set like I would have my dad who's watching the game call me down. I'd come running down, I'd come running in to check on the 10-minute ticker just to see the numbers pop up on the screen to see how New England was doing. So it's amazing, and I think it's good amazing that it's harder to keep yourself in the dark nowadays, informationally speaking wise. Like even if I had it off, like everybody that I know knows that I'm a Patriot fan, knows that Tom Brady, in my correct opinion, is the greatest human being created by God since that nice Jewish carpenter from Nazareth was walking around. So normally though I would attempt to be in the dark, and like if anybody came out, I would let everybody know too in my inner or outer circles, as far as my gravitational pull. I could let people know, like the sun, I would have let people know, like way past Pluto, do not tell me anything about the Patriots. I'm taping the game. If you're going to say anything about the Patriots, stay away from me. You know what I'm saying? This is the internationally recognized symbol for, this is my sphere of influence, gravitational speaking. So everybody would have known. I would have texted everybody, messaged everybody. I would have let everybody know. I would have had a sign around my neck, do not tell me the Patriots game, score, update, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, because, like I said, everybody who knows me, loves me or hates me, whatever, but they know I'm a Patriot fan. They know how I feel about Thomas, Brady. So I would have done that. But, however, we knew coming home from the game, we'd be home about, start of the second half of the 4:30 games, and I would have just started the Patriots game then. I don't care. Time doesn't mean anything to me when I don't know how the Patriots did. You know what I'm saying? It's irrelevant. It's like being in a black hole. It's like being above. Here's the space-time continuum, and here's me. It just doesn't matter. I would have done it. If I could have stayed in the dark, and I would have stayed in the dark. I would have seen to it, that I didn't get updates. I'm very good at letting people know that. I'm good at that. But with that being said, looked and the Cowboys were playing at 4:30 versus the Redskins, so I knew that there was no way, that the missus, who's a huge Cowboy fan, was gonna, go for not having the Cowboy game on the television. And we've only got the television down here in the living room. We got television up in the kids' room, and there's no way I'm going up there to watch the Patriots because I don't go in there. I don't go in that room. I don't go up there. I don't go in there. The last time I was in there, I was the smell, the scariness, what's going on in there. Nope, not my place. So I'm not gonna go up there to watch the game anyway. We don't even have we only have one TV box anyway in the whole house, so we couldn't have taped the game up there anyway. So, and I wasn't gonna tell Michelle to go up there and watch the Cowboy game because she was watching the game, getting everything ready, yada yada yada. So it wasn't gonna happen. So I was like, all right, fine. I conceded. I'm not gonna see the Patriot game today. Thanks a lot, Sophie. Great job, Mariah, scheduling a Sunday game at 3:30. And I went on during the game. I was like, this is like, you ever have a buddy, that schedules a wedding or his kid's birthday party on a Sunday during football at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You just gotta look at the guy and be like, dude, serious? What are you doing here? First of all, it's a wedding. You're looking at the guy being like, obviously you're in for 30 years of misery here if you don't have right now what it takes to say to your upcoming bride, listen, we can't have it on a Sunday during the football season. Sorry, that's just you gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? Or your kid's birthday party, on a Sunday, at 3 o'clock there. And have you ever had to go to like an affair, with friends or a family member that has it on a Sunday, and then they got the gall to look at you and be like, yeah, the Dolphins are playing on Monday, and you're like, I've been there. Well, not so much anymore. As I got older, I just stopped going. I was just like, no, I'm not going. You can go if you want to go. And I've heard, we gotta go. We don't gotta do anything. You don't gotta do anything. You don't have to do anything. I don't have to do anything. I always got to do anything. You do what you want to do. Yeah. One time around this great frisbee week all is. No point in being at a birthday party you don't want to be at on a Sunday during football because your buddy didn't have the chutzpah to say, nope, not going to do it. So anyway, there I was missing the Patriot game, but that's for my daughter. So, hey, I'd make that choice 11 out of 10 times. So I'm getting the updates on, and all of a sudden I look down on the phone, and, Bears get the ball back, very little time left. I'm like, And then all of a sudden I look down, there's a couple plays in the game. The Lady Canes are trying to mount the comeback. Doesn't happen. They ended up losing 7-3. They were getting 3.5. I lost my bet with Ace plus the vig, so 55 cents down to 2. So I look down on the phone, and it says regulation time. It says 0-0-0. Okay, and it has the little football under the Bears logo. So the Bears have the ball. Right, and then it says ball at the New England 1. They had the ball at, it was like at the Bears, whatever, or Patriot 40, wherever they were. So I knew, okay, obviously they threw a Hail Mary, and it says ball at the New England 1, and I showed it to Lukey, my cameraman, my director, my backbone, MVP, big, head honcho, big cheese of the production. Every day, does a fantastic job behind the lens. He couldn't do his game on Saturday. We had a fill-in. Coach's wife, Miss Patty Rendell, big shout out to Patty. Miss Patty did a fantastic job last minute. I had someone who was all set to go, sent me a text as we were driving up to the rink saying couldn't do it, which is fine. Things happen. So Patty stepped up and did a fantastic job. So I want to give a big shout out to Mrs. Patty Rendell. Fantastic job, Miss Patty. There for the Knights game on Saturday. So I'm showing the phone to my son. He's 12 years old, and he is wishy-washy about football. He likes hockey. Doesn't like baseball, doesn't like soccer, basketball. He knows LeBron James, but he watches hockey. That's it. He's not interested in football, which I blame myself. I've tried. My daughter likes football more than him, but she doesn't love it either. They're just hockey, and that's it. Which whatever. I love hockey more than any other sport. Hockey's the best. There's hockey and there's everything else. There's no question about that. However, I do love football and I love baseball. Well, I loved baseball past tense. I still love baseball, but I don't know. It's odd. It's hard to muster the love here. There's a lot of hey now, a lot of comments here on wow, look at this on YouTube. We're gonna dive into that in a moment. So on my phone it says Bears got the ball, Patriot 1 yard line, 0-0-0 left in regulation. And I don't know, I'm sure you guys, have followed your favorite team on your phone before. It's not uncommon to see something bizarre like that pop up. Like New England's winning 38-31, right? Bears got the ball midfield, let's say, whatever. All of a sudden, the next thing you see, you look down on your phone, next thing you see is the Bears, 0-0-0 left in regulation. Bears got the ball, Patriots 1 yard line. And you're like, okay, I'd feel much better if this said final. New England 38-31 doesn't say that. I'm trying to ask Luke, I'm like, what do you think this means? He's looking at me like, Daddy, what are you talking about? I don't know what any of that means. I see the helmet. So I'm like, okay, I'm asking the wrong guy. Not his fault. He's not a football guy. But I'm sure that, sometimes, there's a delay on the updates on the phone, and I'm sure there was a way I could have gotten the game live, but I don't know how to do all that, streaming. Actually, you know what? I probably could have gotten the game live. Probably should have just downloaded the CBS app. Let's not go there. Because then I wouldn't have been calling as good of a game broadcasting-wise. So, I've got to, sometimes I've got to, I can't, multitask that at that level. I can't multitask at any level. So I'm concerned that all of a sudden, the thing's going to refresh, or I'm going to hit refresh, and all of a sudden it's going to say, Bears 39, New England 38, and be like, oh, what in tarnation, So fortunately I wait, and it took a while too. It took a good 4 or 5 minutes. I don't know if they looked at it a whole bunch of times. I don't know what was going on because I couldn't see the game. I knew something happened. I knew the Bears were close, and then finally it did say, final. But it was so weird too. And then it didn't even say final. Then after that it refreshed, and it said end of regulation. I'm like, that's odd. It didn't say final. Didn't say over. It didn't change like it changes, on the opening screen when you Google NFL scores. It looks different when the game's over. It didn't say that. It said end of regulation. So I'm like, did they not update the score? Did the Bears score and it's going to overtime? What is going on here? And then finally, a couple of minutes later, it said final. And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I felt like the weight of the
world, come off my shoulders to realize that the Patriots have, now won 3 in a row, all 3 games scoring no less than 38 points and, pole vaulting themselves, gaining a game on every team in the division and going deeper into first place. And right now, the number 2 seed in the AFC, only a game behind Kansas City. Should Kansas City slip up, which didn't look like they were going to do last night, I didn't think they were going to do it last night. But should Kansas City slip up and the Patriots tie them in the standings, then that means that should they meet in the postseason, that the Chiefs will have to come to Foxborough. Which I got to be honest with you, obviously I like our chances a whole lot better against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in Foxborough than going to Arrowhead. Although if we go to Arrowhead, we'll see what happens. That's fine. There's no question in my mind we can win, a game in Arrowhead. And who knows what the weather will be like. If the weather's bad and the Chiefs are having trouble moving the ball through the air, that's definitely to our advantage, although we lost our starting running back yesterday. So, long story short, the Patriots went on to win the game there. So, we got, let's see, I'm just, we got Vikes there. Somebody's happy about the Vikes. Oh, look at this. We got the itinerary. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is fantastic. I wasn't aware of this. We got the Minnesota trip itinerary has already arrived on our YouTube station, our YouTube channel here. We wake up, me and Mom wake up, steak and eggs, nice. We shovel the driveway, sure. Drive to the lake, I like that. Ice fishing, see grumpy old men, I'll be one of them. Vikings playoff game, it says, nice. Outdoor high school hockey game, this is really good. Wow, this is nice. I like everything that's going on here. I like everything that says. That's fantastic. Let's make that happen, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make that happen. So let's see. Going down the list here of NFL games that I didn't see. The Browns, of course, went to overtime, lost on a 59-yard field. Has this not been the year of the kicker? I mean, on both ends, as far as missing, extra points and everything. And I still think that moving the extra point to 35 yards is not a good move. I don't like it. Makes it too difficult. See what happened? This is a perfect example here. This is a perfect example of once you accept stupidity, only stupidity can come from this foundation of stupidity. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked. The NFL, I don't know how many years ago now, probably 10 years maybe already ago now, adopted the two-point conversion into the NFL, which I was against, am against, and forever will be against, okay? If it takes that much to score 6 points, it's so hard to score a touchdown. It was so hard to score a touchdown, but still, hard to score a touchdown in the NFL, okay? You should not get 1/3 of a touchdown, okay, for, doing something from the 3-yard line. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I changed the game way too much. Okay, so then that was accepted. Okay, and that became the norm. Okay, so now you're accepting something stupid. I understand it's been in the college game forever. It's part of the college game. I'm not saying take it out of the college game. I actually liked it as being a different aspect, keeping the college and NFL, different, as different as you can, along with other things. I like that college has to do with rankings. I like that college football regular season games mean so much more than it does in the NFL. The NFL, you can lose a game in September. Trust me, I'm a Patriots fan. You can lose a couple of games in September, and it's completely irrelevant. You lose a game in September in college, you lose a big game in September in college, you may never make it to the playoffs again, depending on how things shake out. So that's another thing I like. That I like having the difference. I like having them being different. So I like college football having a 2-point conversion because it was theirs. It was unique. I don't like the 2-point conversion in the NFL. So the NFL adopts a 2-point conversion, of course, because it increases scoring and opportunity in fantasy football. It makes it more interesting. Yeah. Theoretically, right? And I'm a guy who loves strategy. I'm a guy who will tell you I thoroughly enjoy NL baseball over AL baseball because I don't like the DH because the DH reduces strategy. So, as is the norm on our show, I'm contradicting myself. However, I don't like the 2-point conversion. So I think it's stupid. So now that you've accepted the 2-point conversion, so here was the NFL here with the 1-point conversion. Now it goes down here, and now I'm trying to go the same way, but whatever. The line is what's important. So imagine these arms go out, or these fingers go out, infinitely, and I'm not trying to show opposite direction. So you've got here's the 1-point conversion NFL, and then it goes down here, and now here's the 2-point conversion NFL. So now everything from here now on this line is therefore stupid. It's a foundation of stupidity. So what do? They go from here, and now they make the 1 point conversion because they say, well, 1 point, you can get 2 points, so we got to make the 1 point conversion more difficult because we've accepted this stupidity. We were here, now we're here. Now we've made it. We've made the NFL this much more stupid, or life this much more stupid. This distance here is a level of stupidity, so it's stupid, right? So now what do? They go from here, which is now, right, this distance here is the level of stupidity, LOS. Then they go here, and they veer down to here. And now the 1 point extra conversion, right, is here for 1 point, 35-yard field goal, right? So now our level of stupidity, our LOS, is here plus here. So we were here, okay? This is where we were with the 1 point only conversion from whatever they snapped the ball 3-yard line. Okay, and we went here to 2 point conversion. Now our level of stupidity is here. And do you think it'll stay here? You think he's gone? You think he's gone? He's not gone. Okay, it always gets stupider. It'll never stay here. This is not where it's going to stay. There's going to be something to come along. You think this is stupid? Wait a minute. There'll be something to come along, and then we'll be 3 levels of separation from where we were up here. So once you accept stupidity, like the 2 point conversion in the NFL, anything therefore that you do without going back to where you were before the stupidity, which no one ever does. No one ever does. No one ever says, you know what, we were okay where we were, let's go back to that. No one ever says it, because then you'd be admitting you were wrong, and no one ever admits that they're wrong. That's and I understand. Well, I don't understand. I don't know like what that would be like, because I don't have to. But no one is ever. They'll never do it. They'll never go back. Another perfect example of complete stupidity: the NFL overtime. They said, okay, we have sudden death. And they're like, well, now we got sudden death. That's not fair, because what if Peyton Manning doesn't touch the football? Then they try this, they try that. And they'll tweak it again, and they'll tweak it from a level of stupidity. They were here, tweaked it to here, so now they're here, and then when they tweak it again, they're going to be here. It's going to keep getting, and it always gets worse. It never gets better. It never gets better. So now you've got a 2 point conversion, stupidity, don't like it, and you've got a 1 point conversion now, which is a 35-yard field goal. Okay? Not necessary. So anyway, also you see it occurring. You see it in all walks of life, but this is a sports show. You see it occurring. You saw it occur in the NHL. They changed the point scoring system and how points are handed out. Used to be 2 points for a win, 0 points for a loss, and 1 point for a tie. So they're like, all right, well, we don't want to have ties. So they got rid of the tie, which, okay, fine. I'm against it. I don't like the shootouts. But I understand that. I can understand. I am on the grumpy, get off my lawn, minority old guy on that. Nobody wants a tie. Ties don't sell. Yada yada. Okay, fine. I get it. I disagree with it, but I can. Fine. So then they just started saying, okay, there's going to be a shootout now. Now the shootout to prevent a tie, I wouldn't label as stupidity, but nevertheless, even if you want to say, it's still changed. Like, here's the line that we had at the tie, even if you don't want to call it stupid, because I'm willing to say it wasn't that stupid. I'm not, some ideas aren't stupid. Sometimes change is okay, but change for change's sake is not a good idea. So here was the line when the NHL gave away 1 point for a tie. Then there's a separation. Then there's a line here where they started doing the shootout. So now you're on another line. No matter what you want, this line stopped. Okay, so now you're on a new line. So now they got the line where, okay, if you win, you get 2 points, right? You lose, you get 0 points. You play 5 minutes of overtime. End of overtime ends, each team gets a point. Like each team had a tie, but we don't want there to be a tie, so we're going to have a shootout, for the bonus point. Now, that does, however, create a little bit of stupidity. Not the shootout part of it. The stupidness is, let's see, do we have time to get into this? Yeah, we do. The stupidness of this is now you're handing out 3 points in a game, where the most any team can acquire, and on any given night, is 2 points. So let's say the Islanders play the Flyers, right? Game goes overtime. This is the old system. We haven't even gotten to the stupidity where we are now. This is what happens, though. Once you start down the road of stupidity, you can only become stupider. So we've got the where it is now. The Islanders play the Flyers. The game goes to overtime. Okay, overtime comes and goes, even when it was 5-on-5 for 5 minutes. Okay, and even still, at first, it was just 5-on-5 for 5 minutes. If you win in overtime, you get 2 points. The other team gets 0. So it's still, not as stupid as it is today. So then, okay, overtime's over. Each team's awarded a point, as it was when there was a tie. Okay, makes sense. Now there's going to be a bonus point or a second point awarded for the win should you win, the shootout. Should you win the game, in shootouts, if you So the Islanders go on, they win the shootout, they get 2 points, the Flyers get a point, and let's say the Rangers are trailing the Islanders and Flyers for the final playoff spot in the East. Now the Rangers, the best they could do, no matter what, they can win the game, 18-0. God forbid the Rangers win a game 18-0. That would make me sick. People, blah, on the inside of it, bleh. Because as you know, if you're a fan of the program, I never want to see them win, never want to see them score. Go, oh, by the way, congratulations to my baby girl. She gave you the lock last night, the Calgary Flames, getting a goal and a half on the road in the Garden. They won 4-1, and then we got to see King nothing. Not a good guy, not a good goalie. Overrated. But I digress. So now that you've got this level of stupidity now, because now the Rangers, okay, they're chasing these two teams here. They're chasing the Flyers and the Islanders, right? So now 3 points are handed out between these two teams. 3 points are handed out. 3 points. Mathematically, 3 points. Can't argue it. 3 points are handed out because the game went overtime. The potential for each game to give out 3 points. The most the Rangers can acquire is 2 points. It doesn't make any sense. It's mathematically unsound. It's that new core math. If you do that new core math, you can work this out. But that's why I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, don't do that new core math. It kills your brain cells, son. Kills your brain cells. Take out a calculator. So now that we're handing out 3 points, here we were with the tie, right? That wasn't okay. Okay, we wanted to get rid of the tie. So what they should have done, if I were king, not king nothing, like Lundqvist, if I were king of the NHL, and I should be, because sometimes monarchies are okay as long as the monarch, has got good ideas. I would have made it okay. You don't want ties, all right. Let them have their damn tartar sauce. I would have said. So you don't want ties, right? All right. So I would have said, okay, you play the game, fine. Team wins the game in regulation. Now you get 3 points because now 3 points could be handed out. So one, it makes regulation, the end of regulation, much more exciting. They might, last 5 minutes of regulation, you really want to win it. Okay, you win in regulation, you get 3 points. You win, the game goes to overtime. Okay, neither of you get a point. You get nothing. You don't get anything for ending the regulation in a tie. That's garbage. Okay, then after regulation is over, you go to overtime. You play 5-on-5. Okay, for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I would have 4 or 5. Or a little bit more of an ice crew come out, ice girls, whatever you want to call it, come out with the not a Zamboni, but with the mini squeegees, go up and down, cover the whole ice, take a 5-minute break, redo the surface as best you can. I play 10 minutes of sudden death, 5-on-5, or sudden life overtime hockey. However, if you win the game in overtime, you only get awarded 2 points because you don't get 3 points because you didn't win in regulation. Regulation is the only way to acquire 3 points for one team. Now, if both teams are tied at the end of the 10-minute 5-on-5 overtime, each team is awarded a point, and then the shootouts go, and one team can get the extra point. So once it goes to overtime, the most a team can get is 2. However, a team can still get 0. So you can get 0, and another team can acquire 3. That way, there's a potential for 3 points to be handed out. Each game there will be 3 points handed out, and there's a chance for an organization to get 3 points. Now, had it been that way, and the Rangers win their game in regulation, they get 3 points. Islanders win their game in shootouts, they get 2 points. Flyers win their game, lose their game in shootouts to the Islanders, they get 1 point. The Rangers are rewarded for their success. The Islanders get 2 points because they still get the bonus point for winning the shootout, and the Flyers. Now that's if you don't want to have ties. I really would have just left it at a tie, but I'm conceding that the fans and this and that want that. So then we went from that, which was okay. Now we're here for the tie. There was a level of stupidity because now you're handing out 3 points, so now we're here, and it's 5-on-5 overtime, and if there's nothing there, each team gets a point. Then it went to okay, we're going to end regulation. We're going to veer down. We're going to go from this now. We accept this now instead of this. This is not what we accept anymore. We throw that away. This is not as good an idea, so we're accepting this. And from this, it has to be stupider. We can't, if this is accepted as okay, and it's stupider than this, any idea that comes from this must be stupider. It's impossible for an idea to come from this and be better than this. It's impossible if you're accepting this as the given. So now this is your foundation, right? So okay, so foundation, 3 points handed out, only 2 points max the team can get. So comes from here, right? Then you go on. Then now what do? They say, oh, okay, if you finish regulation tied, each team gets a point. If you lose in overtime, you still keep your point. So you get a point for losing, which if you go to a Yankee game, the Yankees beat the Red Sox, or the Red Sox beat the Yankees, 5-4 in 12 innings, the team that scores 4 doesn't get, a point because you lost. So but then they say, well, we're gonna make it so that the overtime isn't real. So we're gonna make it 4-on-4 for the extra bonus points. So we're gonna make it 4-on-4, uh, and if you win in overtime, you get 2 points. If it's still tied after overtime, you guys keep that point that you get at the end of regulation. Then we're gonna go to shootouts because we still don't like ties. So now you take in the tie. You've gone to the shootouts, handing out 3 points when there's only 2 points. So stupid. Now you've done the really stupid because now it's 4-on-4 in overtime and you're handing out a point. Then from there, as we all know, they were like, wait a minute, this isn't stupid enough. We're gonna go here, and now from our original point up here, we've gone 3 levels now of stupidity in the NHL, and now the overtime in the NHL is, well, if we're done in regulation, it's tied at 1. Then we're going to play 3-on-3 because that's so exciting. Everybody loves the 3-on-3, and we're going to hand out a point if a team wins in a meaningless, exhibition of 3-on-3, which is absolutely meaningless. Oh, if there's a penalty, it's going to be 4-on-3 because we can't have 3-on-2, which again takes that even to another stupider level that I didn't even realize there was that much level of stupidity. But apparently Gary Bettman has found it. That's what happens when you accept stupidity. I can give you countless examples of that throughout sport. I can give you countless examples of that throughout life. I can give you. It's limitless, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get on the phone with Mr. Shane Willis, want to just look at tonight's NHL games. There was one that I saw early. I want to hand out for you as my lock of the night. Of course, I'll hand out Sophie's later on. Sophie's won 2 in a row. She's +1 in locks. Lightning took care of Chicago. The Ducks lost at Paul Kariya night. I'm surprised they lost hanging up Paul Kariya's jersey, but they did. All right, tonight we got the Canucks. I'm not looking at the Capitals ever again. I don't think the Blues are playing very well. I think I'm liking it. I think I'm looking at the Winterpeg Jets. They're gonna take the Jets if it's only a goal and a half. And I promise you it's a goal and a half because Vegas is very, very lazy when it comes to NHL. It's always a goal and a half. Hardly ever a goal. Let's see. Hold. Come on, technology, do your thing. Puck line and sinker. Shocker. Yep, Winnipeg is giving a goal and a half to St. Louis. So I'm going to take the Winnipeg Jets minus a goal and a half at home versus St. Louis. That's my lock. Let's see if there's any overs that jump out at me before I jump all over that. Interesting. They're all 6, so another point of laziness there. By the end, look, every line is the over under 6, and every line is a goal and a half. Right? I mean, before I even look, goal and a half, goal and a half, goal and a half, goal and a half. Yeah. Vancouver's a goal and a half. At home, getting a goal and a half from Washington, I wouldn't touch that. Washington's just an enigma right now, but they're Detroit's getting a goal and a half from Carolina. Carolina's lost 3 in a row. I wouldn't touch that. Philadelphia's a goal and a half favorite against Colorado, and the Jets are a goal and a half favorite at home against St. Louis. So write it down, ladies and gentlemen. Write it down. Winterpeg Jets minus 1.5. That's my lock of the night. Of course, I'll have Sophie's lock later on. She's +1 so far for the week. And if you would tune in, we're going to move it to Friday afternoons before Lukey's hockey practice. Friday afternoons, Sophie's Sports and Toy Emporium, where my daughter Sophia cashes in her winnings for the week. Each lock that she wins on is worth $3. So whatever she has in winnings, she can take to the toy store, and then we open up the toys on her show and discuss, and she reviews them for you at home. But she has to earn them through gambling and picking correct locks. So far this weekend, the locks always start over on Friday night. So far right now, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, she went 2-1 over the weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Last night she had the Flames. Night before that, she had the Predators over the Oilers. So she's won 2 in a row, and she's up right now. She's +1 lock, so I'll let everybody know what her lock is before the big PNC game takes place tonight. We're going to take a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Don't you go anywhere. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here on Glenda. Just a little break there. I would have left you with music. Usually I leave you with music, but I just didn't want to be without my telefono because I was waiting for a phone call, waiting for Mr. Shane Willis, who's going to call into the show. Excuse me. Any moment, and I am thoroughly excited to speak with him. Great guy, like I said, does a fantastic job with the youth hockey in the area. Played in the NHL for a couple of seasons. Played with the Canes. One year had 20 goals with the Canes from a defenseman. That's a pretty darn good season. Back in the late '90s and early 2000s, but just a really super nice guy. He's going to be calling into the show any minute now. Let's see, did we get to go through? So the lock of the day, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, take the Winnipeg Jets to defeat the St. Louis Blues tonight at home. So then a couple other games, like I said. Oh yeah, we didn't get anywhere near the end of the NFL recaps. Yeah, you don't mind that. The Dolphins lost at home to the Lions. I was really surprised. I thought the Dolphins would continue their winning ways. I keep thinking the Dolphins are better than they are. I guess they lost 32-21, dropping the Dolphins to 4-3, raising the Lions to 3-3. Stafford, wow, only 18 for 22. I guess they said we are going to run the ball, and they did run the ball. Johnson ran the ball for 158 yards. Wow, on 19 carries. That's impressive. Running the ball right down the throats of the Dolphins. I guess that was the game plan, and they executed it fantastically. Good to see the Dolphins losing, the Bills losing, and the Jets losing, the Patriots winning. Happy days are here again. And the Ravens lost, too. Always like to see the Ravens losing on an extra point by their kicker who never missed an extra point. Very interesting. The Cowboy game, that was a good one. Cowboy-Redskin games are always good. It was a complete debacle at the end. The Cowboys marched down the field, got into field goal range, went to line up for the game-tying field goal, 20-17, and got a false start penalty against one of their. Actually, no, they got the center got called for moving the ball, which I thought was actually hot garbage. Now that I remember, yeah, I was watching it. Because the centers always get down and like adjust the ball a little bit. All he did was like adjust it a little bit. He didn't like go like any sort of motion that he was going to snap it, and he moved the ball a little bit. The Redskins jumped. I thought that him moving the ball, if that's what caused the Redskins to jump, which is what the official said, because he said that he moved the ball. Penalty should have been against the Redskins, but the penalty went against the Cowboys, and the call went against the Cowboys, and they ended up getting pushed back 5 yards, so it went from a 48-yarder, 47-yarder, I think it was, to a 52, 53-yarder. Had it gone the other way, it would have been like a 42-yarder, which is a lot different than 52. And they lined up for the kick, took the kick, and it looked like it was a weird kick. It took forever. It was definitely a windy day. In Washington yesterday, it wasn't a great day out. The ball seemed like it took forever to get there, and it looked like he kicked it when it started to go up. It looked like it was headed like right for the field goal post. Then it started to bend in. I was like, oh, okay, he nailed it. This is gonna end up like towards the middle. Then it just like died, and then it just faded gently towards the field goal post again. I'm like, oh no. And then I thought, okay, it's gonna hit the post and go in. They're gonna be all right here. So like I said, the wife's a Cowboys fan, so we're rooting for the Cowboys. No reason to root against them. I'm a Patriots fan, so they don't, there's no rivalry there. I only root against the Cowboys if they're playing the Patriots. Other than that, why not support, the wife and the boy? You want the family to be happy. Everything's going well. Patriots already won, so I'm happy. Hey, why not? Share the love. You guys can win too. So then the ball just like sort of faded and just went boom right off the field goal, right off the the goal post there, out to the side. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on if you're a Redskins fan or not. I got some friends that are Redskins fans and family members. So the Cowboys ended up losing that one 20-17. Big problem yesterday for the Cowboys that I thought they had solved against the Jaguars, or depending on your point of view, great job by the Redskins defensive front, only holding Zeke to 33 yards on 15 carries. That's impressive. Dak had a great day. Good day. Dak had a certainly good enough day. 22 of 35, 273 yards and a touchdown. That's a good day on the road in Washington. They just couldn't run the ball. Let's see. I think Peterson, did he get 100 yards? Peterson got 99 yards. Okay. Smith had an Alex Smith day, 14 of 25, 178 with a touchdown. No rushing touchdowns for the Cowboys. I know they had a defensive touchdown, sack fumble touchdown. That always hurts. But Peterson, 24 carries, 99 yards. Still, workhorse-esque manner there. And all of a sudden, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you turn around and you look at it, and there's the Washington Redskins all alone at the top of the heap. I thought the Cowboys had figured it out last week. I thought they were like, okay, we're going back to the Cowboys we were 2 years ago. We just pushed the Jaguars up and down the field. The first half that the Cowboys played last week against the Jaguars, they left the field 24-0. Apparently, the Jaguars are a lot worse than I really understood. And the Cowboys couldn't do the same. The Redskins' front seven is for real. Redskins, have got a decent running back, decent quarterback, good front seven, good enough to win that division. With the Eagles losing, the Cowboys losing, and the Giants playing tonight. Giants are out of it anyway. No way. The Redskins are 4-2. Giants are 1-5. Right now, there's no way the Giants are going to catch the Redskins, and they're at Atlanta tonight on Monday night. So whatever. Atlanta's not a good team either, but I don't anticipate the Giants winning tonight. But whatever. So the two teams that really matter, they beat the Cowboys head to head. So that's a huge win for the Redskins, and then the Eagles went on to lose to the Panthers. So great day if you're a Redskins fan, gaining a game. Let's see, who do they got next week? They got the Giants next week at New York. Okay, they should win that game. And who do the Cowboys? I think the Cowboys have another tough game next week. Let's see, Cowboys. Dallas. Does Dallas have a bye? The Eagles are at Jacksonville. Oh no, excuse me. Eagles are in London against Jacksonville, so you never know what's going to happen in London. Although the Jacksonville Jaguars are loved in London, it's bizarre, but they are. Yeah, it does appear that the Cowboys have a bye. Okay, Cowboys have a bye going into next Sunday night. Saints at Vikings. Circle that one. That's a good one. Packers at Rams. There's some good ones. Oh my, it's gonna be an easy week to talk about football. Broncos at Chiefs. This is nice. I like what you've done here. Everything that's going on next week. So Cowboys got a bye, and the Redskins are playing in New York, and the Eagles are in London. So no, we don't know what's going to happen there. Going forward, the Rams took care of business, went up the coast to take care of business in Santa Clara. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've got this Mr. Shane Willis on the line right here calling in, so we're going to go right to our interview with Shane. Hold on one moment. Here we go. Let's love technology. Good morning. You are on Glenda.
Morning, Scott. Shane Willis calling from the Carolina Hurricanes. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful. How you doing, Shane? Just want to let you know that you are live on the air, and the millions and millions of fans are ecstatic, as am I, that you're on the show with us. Thank you so much for calling in. I can't tell you. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure. Excited to be on the show, Scotty. Look forward to talking about all the hot topics in youth hockey, a little Hurricanes hockey, and the future of this hockey season.
Absolutely. So I gotta start off with, and I'm sure you and I are right around the same age. We're in our early 40s. I mean, we're still looking good, walking tall, mentally alert at all times. But in this day and age, does it make you chuckle? Because it makes me laugh at how the Canes, they win 3 in a row. They're gonna go on to win the Stanley Cup. They lose 3 in a row, and now break up the team. Everybody's the sky is falling. The Twitterverse and everything that is the world today. What do you? You're a lot closer with the guys and the team. How's the organization feeling after? Now this is their first downturn of the early season. They have lost 3 in a row. How's everything? The atmosphere around there.
I think the big thing is, from a guy's perspective, and I think why we have such great leadership with Rod Brickmore and Justin Williams, Ruben Stahl, these guys now, is that these guys realize that it's a very, very long season. We like to call it a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's always good to come out of the gates and get those wins like we did, but I think the guys know it's to keep their hand away from the panic button after losing 3 in a row. Every team goes through it. I think it's a matter of, now you find out the character you truly have, like what kind of skill you have, and how you get out of these kind of situations. I think it's a big game tonight in Detroit for these guys to come out. Again, set the precedent, the way we've been playing. They continue to play the right way. They're playing with speed. They're playing physical. They're getting the goaltending they need. And to me right now, I mentioned it with Mike Maniscalco on the show tonight, it's one of those things that I don't think in any of these games the Hurricanes have really gotten a favorable bounce. I look back at the Avalanche game, and defensively they're making a great play, shorthanded. It bounces off our defenseman right back onto the stick of the Avalanche player, and it's in the back of the net to go up 2-0. And that entire game, I don't think the Canes got a bounce like that, and that's sometimes what you need to get back in the winning column and back on track. But I've said all along, they continue to play the right way. They have an identity, and they're going to come out tonight ready to get back in that win column.
Yeah, tonight's a good opportunity in Detroit. Although every game, it's hard to get 2 points against any NHL team. People think, oh, this team's in last place or this team's struggling. Every night it's I've never laced them up in the NHL or anything, but it's just not as easy as people think to acquire 2 points. Versus any NHL team, but it is a good opportunity, and it's good just to get back out there. I always felt, of course I never played anywhere near this level, but you always wanted to get back on the ice as quickly as you can after a loss, I felt, especially during a little mini losing streak. But I think that the team looks phenomenal, even though, it's a little bit more, it would be a lot easier to say if they were, had won 7 in a row here, but that's a pretty tall order. But I am ecstatic with the speed that I see. I'm ecstatic with the young players. I mean, they've got 3 or 4 rookies out there that just look, like the sky's the limit for this team. And then the balance with Williams and the additions on defense. I'm still, maybe a little delusions of grandeur here, but I think that this team's going to be challenging, for the division championship all year long. Maybe I'm a little bit too biased, a little bit too excited, but I truly feel that, and I think a lot of people do.
Yeah, and I think, as you talked about, I think you look at our rookies that are coming and playing well, and the way this team is built. I think the moves that General Manager Don Waddell was able to make over the summer, the Calgary trade, I think a lot of people were nervous with that at first, but he added 2 valuable pieces that we already see this team, and Michael Furlan, who has gelled perfectly on our first line. His physicality there tonight, we saw in the third period how he energized the team.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dougie Hamilton, I think he's going to be a guy, who's going to be looked upon to kind of turn this power play around. He's already shown the things he can do, but I think there's even a higher bar for him to get to. And then you bring in a guy like Calvin DeHaan. He's been solid on the back end, making those moves, and Peter Mrazek's played well in net. It's funny, people sit there and go, oh, now what are we going to do now? Now we're starting losing. Ultimately, let's just turn it around this way. We still sit in first place in the Metro Division.
Yep.
After losing 3 in a row. It was great to have a great start. We'd love to be 7-1, wouldn't everybody? But nobody is. No one's gone out of the gates in the Metro and has taken off. It's going to be a dogfight right till the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's an 82-game season, and it could come down to the last 2 or 3 games of the year. But the more you can put stretches together like they had at the start of the year, 3-4 wins in a row, then you lose a couple, then you go back and win 3 or 4. Those are the signs of a good team and a team that can make a run deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I couldn't agree with you more. I'm still excited about the season. It's still young. You always start the season off 0-0, but the big difference for me, just from a fan's perspective, just seeing it from afar, is just the overall speed of the team right now. I mean, we're throwing out 3-4 lines that each and every line has got a tremendous amount of speed out there. Of course, we've got like we said, a lot of young guys out there, but that's a great problem in my estimation, to have. I don't think that, and I think, correct me if you think I'm wrong. I think our our unit on defense, outside of San Jose and Nashville, I think, is tops in the NHL, top to bottom. You don't see 6 solid defensemen like we have on too many teams out there. And but long haul, that's where we're really going to start to shine when it gets. How long the season can be, and teams get tired in the middle of the winter, and we've just got 6 solid NHL defensemen that a lot of teams just don't have.
I completely agree. I think our back end, not only being solid defensively, they're mobile, and they can jump up into play, creating offense, which we push more, and just the style of play that Coach Brittamore has them playing. It's an aggressive offensive style. It's fun to watch. I mean, every game here at PNC has been an exciting game, back and forth, up and down the ice, and I think, getting a big win here in Detroit to kick off a 3-game homestand. I think our fans should be excited to be back in here Friday night against the Sharks team and really get things rolling back in the right direction. If you look at it, this is a stretch where the Hurricanes now could get back rolling in that win column and stretch out their lead.
Yeah, tonight's a huge game. A little, not a road trip, but a little mini, excursion out to Detroit, not too far of a flight, and yeah, gotta put an end to it. Don't want it to get to 4 games, and like you said, come home and ready to go, and hopefully take 5 out of 6 points. The 3 games at home. No, you don't like to get too far ahead, but from a fan's perspective, we always do. We start looking at it, from that point of view, and just plain and simply, to really be blunt about it. And I speak for everybody in the triangle down here. As hockey fans and dads and hockey dads down here, we just want to go to a playoff game. We want to go to a playoff game. It's that plain and simple. And I think Mr. Dundon gets it. And there'll be 17,000 on hand. The place will be packed and ready to go. And PNC is a phenomenal place to see a game and a phenomenal place to tailgate before the game. A lot of arenas nowadays in the NHL, you don't get that fun parking lot atmosphere that we are blessed to have here in Raleigh.
Yeah, I think, ever since even when I played here, Scotty, the fans have been first class and amazing every time they're here at PNC Arena. Everyone, I think, as you mentioned, from top to bottom, from Mr. Dundon, from Don Waddell, Coach Rod Brindamore, and through this entire players, they want to be in the playoffs. We want to win here and put a product on the ice. I think we're seeing now has that ability to win hockey games and energize this fan base. I don't blame fans for sitting and waiting and saying, what are they going to do? But I can tell you the changes have been made to move in the right direction, and Mr. Dundon and Mr. Waddell are prepared to continue to push that way to win. They put the right people in place. You always want to surround yourself with winners, and I think this organization has that, and they're moving that way, and we'll continue to see that on the ice night in and night out. And as you said, it's one of the most exciting buildings to be in. When the numbers are here, it's a loud building, and I can tell you from a player standpoint, when our fan base gets this building going and this building is loud, it does energize the team and it helps the team. So I'm telling you, from an ex-player standpoint, the more people we get in here screaming and going, they're adding, the on-ice things, and they're going to be adding things to the building to energize and make it that cool experience when you come out. But they need those cheers and roars from our fans and from our crowd.
Yeah, I could tell you, from a fan's perspective, a dad's perspective, somebody who's always up around the rink talking, when the dads get together, and the families get together, 90% of the time we're talking about hockey. We are legitimately, and I'm not just saying this because you're on and I'm doing a show here, we are legitimately excited about the team that's on the ice right now. We are, this is the first time I've lived here now for 5 years, moved down from Long Island, as most people could tell the minute I open my mouth. I've been dying to go to a playoff game, take my kids to a playoff game. We're excited. But this is the first time where everybody, to a man and to a woman, are like, yeah, we are going to the playoffs this year. This team's different. There's something different about the team. I don't know. I can't speak to it directly. Maybe it comes, down from Mr. Dundon right away, starting down. Maybe it's obviously the changes on the ice. From my perspective as a dad and as a fan, the Canes have always been, since the day I got down here, I was like, wow, this is a first-class organization off the ice. The Caniac Carnival, what you guys do for the kids, the First Goal program, which you do personally for youth hockey here in the Triangle. I mean, the Canes are phenomenal. And I've always said if they could just match, their production on the ice with the way they carry themselves off the ice, this team's going to, go through the roof. And even, you got to remember when you were playing and they were, a top-flight organization, making the playoffs, making a couple runs, winning the cup. Obviously, the demographics down here have changed so much because people like me are moving down here in droves from hockey towns, and the Canes haven't been that successful on the ice in a decade. Not knocking them, it is what it is. It's a fact. I think you've got a whole bunch of people down here who weren't here originally for the last time the Canes were good, and a lot of us are energized and ready to go. And this is the first time I can tell you from a first person's perspective, talking with people all the time, everybody is on board, ecstatic, and thinks that we've got the team not only to make the playoffs. I think this team, as constituted today, with the defense and the goaltending and the youth up front, can make a run in the playoffs. Once you get to the playoffs, it's anybody's. In my opinion, of course, there's favorites, but anybody could beat anybody in the NHL playoffs in a 7-game series. I think this team is poised, as it is constructed right now, to go deep into the playoffs. Again, call me crazy, but
Well, I agree with you. I think the one thing, and it goes back to day one when this franchise showed up at Raleigh. I think one of the biggest things um, for this team was community first, and it's been there since day one. And Mr. Dundon supports that, and we continue to push as much community support as we can through youth hockey and through our Kids and Community Foundation, the things they do, the money we're putting out in this community to be successful in those organizations. But as you said, the people are moving down from the north. Now it's a matter of having that winning team on the ice helps us change what jersey they're wearing, what hat they're wearing. And, I still see it today in the rinks of how many kids are walking in, whether they have a, Caps t-shirt on or a, Penguins hat. Those are teams that these kids, at a young age saw winning the Stanley Cup. A lot of these young kids didn't see the Canes win the Stanley Cup in '06.
mm-hmm.
But when you get back to that, it energizes those kids, and we now have the players to energize them. You look at Sebastian Aho and Andrei Svechnikov and Jacob Slavin, these guys. Our youth and kids should be excited about this. They want a superstar. They're now getting a taste of superstar. Sebastian Aho is going to be a superstar in this league for a long time. I think once our young kids start seeing that, those hats will quickly change. Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin and those guys are great players, but I want our youth players here to be energized and excited about our team here and our captain Justin Williams and our head coach and what they bring each and every night and why they should be wearing their shirts and their jerseys each and every night because they're here supporting them, and that's what they want as well.
Yeah, it's the it takes a while to stop a train going in one direction, but it has stopped, and it is definitely starting to head in the direction that you thought. And also, the superstars of the league, the Crosbys, the Ovechkins, they're on, they're at the back end, the Malkins, the back end of their careers. So, there are new superstars taking over, and I think you're right. I think we've got two here that we could see already. Aho and Smesnikov. I always mispronounce his name, but he's he looks phenomenal. It was phenomenal that we got the second pick overall. That was a huge win for us, and I'm just excited about the team. And like you said, I think you're gonna see that happen. You run the first goal program, which my kids were a part of, and my kids this year were a part of on the other end, helping out. Could you touch on that a little bit? Let people know about that, because I personally think it's the greatest thing I've ever seen for a parent with kids that are starting out in hockey, and I love it. I think you do a great job. The Kings do a great job. The youth hockey does a great job. But could you tell everybody at home a lot about that, or a little bit about that, or however much you want?
Yeah, the First Goal program has been an excellent addition to our area and to our state to help increase the growth of youth players playing hockey. It's a league-wide initiative through the NHL and the NHLPA, and every organization has bought into putting a program like this into their markets. And here in Raleigh, we just finished our third season doing the First Goal program. And basically what it is, for a quick rundown, it's for kids ages 5 to 9, boys and girls, to get a taste and learn about the sport of hockey. So when you sign up, each child will get head-to-toe equipment, brand new, from CCM, the main sponsor of the program. You'll get 2 free tickets to a Hurricanes home game. You'll get a kids club membership with some cool kids club items for each player. And you also get 7 on-ice sessions at the local facility of your choice, led by a great Hurricanes alumni. And then, as you mentioned, some of our great youth players and other dads and moms in the city who help support the program and volunteer their time to help these new hockey players get in what we feel is the greatest sport in the world. So getting out there and playing and learning for 7 straight weeks, and then we try and hand them on to another learn-to-play program to keep playing. And you get to keep everything you get in the program. It's a very low cost. This year was $119, and we had 780 kids participate. Year one, we did 250. Last year, we jumped to 643, and then this year we did 780 kids across the state of North Carolina, including Charlotte, Greensboro. We had a group down on the military base in Fort Bragg. So we're able to reach this program and stretch it out to continue to help grow the sport here in the South, here in North Carolina, and not only create more hockey players, but create more fans for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, it's an incredible program because bluntly speaking, starting out with hockey for a kid is hard, and a lot of kids quit because skating is hard. And when you get those 7 sessions right away, you can see so many of the little kids from day one to the 7th week. You could just see the improvement in their eyes and out there on the ice. And once and every hockey guy and gal knows, once you get the bug for hockey, you can never ever get rid of it. There's just something about hockey. You love it, and it just gets into your heart and into your soul, and you can really see the confidence build in the kids, by the end of the 7th week, as opposed to just mom and dad going out, spending a ton of money on the equipment, going out doing a couple of free skates, trying with the kid. The kid falls down, cries and quits. And I'm not trying to be so simplistic about it, but, hockey's a difficult thing. You got to learn. It's like learning how to walk again, when you start playing hockey. And this program, it's a low risk financially, from a mom and dad's perspective. And then, 7 sessions on the ice, 2 tickets to the game, the equipment, it's phenomenal. And the kids have a ball. You guys make it out on the ice. You guys make it a lot of fun for them. And that's, I love it. I love seeing, my guys, my daughter went through it a couple of years ago in the program, and now, on the other end helping out. And, I just think that, you deserve a lot of credit. And like you said, and those kids are going to turn into fans and help fill the building at PNC as well, too, besides just playing in the league, And from a guy who has a daughter, you see a lot more and more girls out there every session and every year, so I get excited about that too. So I just want to thank you for what you do for the kids out there. You really do a great job.
Well, thank you, Scotty. I mean, it's such a, as you mentioned, a gratifying program to be able to go out there and, again, in a way, giving back to the community. But as you said, from week one, we try and have as much fun as we can out there. The kids are laughing, and you get a little bit worried of how much they're falling down and getting back up. But I can tell you over the 3 years, we've had less than a handful of kids who have said, maybe we're not ready and we'll try again next year. Everyone sticks with it. And those 7 weeks to watch the smiles on the parents' faces to where their kid maybe only makes it one time around the rink in week 1 to week 7, where they're going around each and every time as fast as any other kid out there. The smiles and the funny things the kids say out there, and the ultimate fun we have and what the game provides to each and every one of these kids is a great experience, not only for the kids, but the instructors who are out there as well, because that's how we learned growing up, from someone who was giving their time and giving you an opportunity to play such a great sport. And it's an awesome program. We're going to open up registrations again May the 1st, 2019, for our summer programming next year. So anyone listening who has a son or daughter, as you mentioned, we had 143 girls in the program this year. Once again, an area where we're focusing on really trying to grow is the girls and the female participation in the sport. And I think, May the 1st, if your son or daughter is ages 5 to 9, there's no better way. Get them into some skating classes now. So once we get them their brand new hockey equipment, they're off and running and ready to go next summer and enjoy it with us through those 7 weeks.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, and I couldn't, from just a local dad, hockey dad's perspective, and my wife, couldn't recommend it, higher than I do. It's phenomenal. It's a great deal, simply put. But like you said, just the fun that they have and the confidence that they build, it's immeasurable. It's awesome. I love it. I think it's the best thing that I've seen in youth hockey, since I've been around it my whole life, coaching, repping, playing, backup, third string goaltending and whatnot, having fun out there. I always say I was in charge of keeping the libations cool, in the cooler for the ride home on the bus. So, and I never missed a
Hey, everyone has a role on a team, Scotty. Everyone's got a part of it. I mean, not one guy wins the championship. There's 20 guys sitting there.
I was thrilled to be on the team. That's all I was. I got to wear the sweater. That's all that mattered to me. I was a happy guy. I'm a simple man, Shane. You know me. So, but yeah, we're ecstatic. We got a big one coming up tonight at PNC. We got NC State and UNC taking place tonight. How do you feel about how college hockey has grown here in the area in just the last 5 years? I think just 3 years ago they weren't even having games at PNC, and now last year they had over 8,000 for the last one, and they're expecting a big crowd again tonight. we'll be there. I'm ecstatic about that one. How do you feel about the college hockey scene that's growing in the area?
It has been great to see in another area in working with NC State and UNC very closely from a Hurricanes perspective to try and help give that support and really put their teams and their programs in the spotlight. I think so many of our kids who play locally on the travel teams or in the local house leagues always get to a point and their question is always, what do we do next? And Division 1 and Division 3 college hockey is awesome, but as we know, getting to that level is very hard to do, and it takes a special kind of player. And there's a lot of players in our city that don't play at that level. So what could they do next? And I think UNC and NC State both offer outstanding club programs for these young players to not only get a great education, number one, locally, but to continue to play the great sport at a high level. And I think once we start seeing, is what we're seeing now, is some great talent come out of these programs and stay home and play on these teams. And these games are great. As you said, it's here at PNC tonight, a 7 o'clock game that is open to the public, free to get in. You come in through the east side of the PNC arena. Donations are accepted at the door to kind of help these club teams. It is pay to play, so any donation at the door is going to these great programs to help offset some of their costs for these students. And they put on a great show. It's going to be a good game here tonight. Both teams are very good. I think NC State's coming in undefeated.
Yes.
So I think UNC is going to be looking to play the spoiler and get a little upset here tonight. But there's always a great atmosphere when you get a college game going, whether it's basketball or football. But these guys get intense. They come here to win, and it'll be an exciting night here at PNC.
Yeah, it's a fun night. It's a big rowdy crowd. It's a different type of crowd. You get a lot of students coming in who've been hanging out in the parking lot, for a couple hours. we'll say that. And like I said, it's a great parking lot to hang out in.
It's a great parking lot. Utilize Uber if you're coming over to the PNC. But we will have a concession open. Beer will be served here at PNC tonight, so there'll be some food to be purchased. The taps will be open, and again, we'll make it a full game experience for both these teams, and hopefully we see a good one here tonight. I'm not sure if they're calling it the backyard brawl this year, but last year she got pretty interesting late in the game. It was a close one. I think NC State came out on top, but we'll be here tonight. Looking forward to another great show.
Yeah, I can't wait. And you get the bands are there, and it's just it's just a fun, different type of atmosphere, and you get a lot of kids, local kids, on the local hockey teams here in the crowd. You see them wearing their sweaters and everything. So it's I can't wait. I can't wait for tonight. Shane, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate everything you do for youth hockey in the area, and go Canes. We're all ready to go to a playoff game, and I'm ready to grow my playoff beard come this spring. If you think I'm sexy,
well, thanks, Scotty. I enjoyed it. I'll be back on again. Hopefully, as we're coming off a 3 or 4 game winning streak, we'll chat again, and the easy part, we'll be able to just pick apart everything while the Canes win and update some youth hockey tournaments around the city. And again, let's get all ready for NC State UNC tonight, and then we'll all be our phones will be pulled out watching the Hurricanes get 2 big points in Detroit.
Yep, it's going to be a great night of hockey here in the Triangle, and very excited. And Shane, thank you so much for coming on, and you are welcome on the show anytime. And anytime if you want to come into the booth during the broadcast, even tonight if you're available, want to pop in, do some color commentary, I can always use a break, get some more oxygen back into the brain cells. So you are more than welcome at any time.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Thanks, Scotty.
All right. Thanks, Shane. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah.
Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Shane Willis of the Hurricanes. He does such a fantastic job with the Canes. Just a nice guy. I mean, I send him crazy emails. I don't know how he puts up with me. I sent him an email, a couple of days ago about my idea for a commercial that the NHL should do with the NHL mascots and Gritty and this and that. He's always like so nice and so patient with me, and I could tell, like I could see behind his eyes, he's like, "What is wrong with you, dude? Why do you send me these emails?" But he doesn't say it, but he definitely thinks it, and I appreciate him keeping it to himself. Believe me, I know how people sometimes see me and all this. So thank you so much, Shane, for coming on. But the first goal program that the Canes run down here, if you got a little kid 5 to 9 that hasn't played or even has played a little bit, it's phenomenal. I couldn't recommend it higher. Like you said, you get a full set of hockey gear, which as you you know is not cheap. 2 tickets to a game and 7 sessions on the ice. And this year he said it was for $119 or for $120. I mean, a pair of skates cost more than that. 2 tickets to a game cost more than that. It's just it's a great thing. And then to see your to see your son or your daughter go out there and like I said, from week 1 to week 7, the amount of change that you see in them, the confidence, the smiles, and just having an absolutely fantastic time out there every time they go is just it's awesome. So I really want to thank Shane for coming on. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, obviously the huge one, the big one, the big tilt, the backyard brawl, coming at you live from PNC Arena. Is going to obviously be taking place at PNC Arena. We will be live there tonight. We have a pregame show going on. I think it's 6:15. It'll be out on Twitter. So please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We're at the Glenda Love Broadcasting Company at YouTube, and we're at Glenda Love BC. The G, the L, the B, and the C are capitalized on Twitter. Please follow us there. I can't thank you enough for tuning in today. Today's show is a little bit elongated, but you don't mind that. You get some bonus extra time. You and I, we don't spend enough quality time together. So tonight, like I said, remember, take the Winnipeg Jets minus 1.5. That's my lock it up of the night. That's the international sign for lock it up. I'll give you selfies later on. And tonight, tune into the game tonight. You can have our game on the phone, or you can have the Canes on the phone and our game on the big screen at our Voxcast channel or our YouTube channel. You can watch the Backyard Brawl live. So big thanks to Shane Willis for calling in and being part of the program. And we'll see you all tonight at the Backyard Brawl, ladies and gentlemen, the big one taking place at PNC Arena. Oh my, 7 p.m. And of course the Giants and the Falcons are a little Monday night football going on tonight. There's so much on the docket, on the itinerary, but the big one, the one that we're all looking forward to, is of course, the Backyard Brawl taking place at PNC Arena tonight at 7 p.m. So that's going to do it for our program here today. Welcome to Glenda. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll update everybody on the time. Not exactly sure what time that's actually going to take place, because we may be changing what time we actually show the show, or film the show, I guess we should say. So I am your host, Scotty Bonner. Thank you so much for spending your morning on Glenda. See you tonight at PNC for the Backyard Brawl. Oh my. Goodbye, everybody.